I'm gonna hit record too. So you're live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome, everybody. We are back. We are here in the crypt with another amazing interview, another amazing show. And I just want to thank you guys for all the support you've been giving me, getting amazing feedback, lots of great emails from you guys. So thank you so much. You have no idea how excited I am to be doing these interviews and sharing this information with you guys, because the guests I get on really are sharing some amazing stuff, and I hope you guys are enjoying the content and taking some stuff away from it and looking into this stuff for yourself and growing, because I mean, hey, I got some of the best people on here talking about really important topics. So and I really enjoy this, as you guys know, I'm sure you can tell. And so I'm super excited about having my guest on this evening. I've been looking forward to this interview now for a couple weeks, and it's just something I've been really looking forward to. And I think it's going to be very valuable information that we talk about. And we're going to be all over the map tonight, I'm sure, but there's going to be a lot of great stuff here that we're talking about. So before I get my guest on, though, I always like to remind you guys, I'm going to start reminding everybody at the beginning. I usually do it at the end of my interviews, but for some reason, I don't think people actually listen to the very end once I sign off with my guest. So I'm going to start saying it at the beginning. You can check out my radio show. I'm on twice a week at Revolution Radio. You can get there going to freedomslips.com. And I'm on Saturday evenings with my amazing co-host, Jonathan Wright, and that is the Crypt Rick and Jonathan Show. We're in Studio B from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So please check it out, guys. Lots of great guests on there. And then you can also find my show, which is on Monday nights, also from 6 to 8 p.m. in Studio A. And I've been doing that for over almost a year now, which is, I've had so many incredible guests on, and we've hit so many important topics. So check it out, guys. I mean, if you like radio format, this is the place to go. Don't have to worry about being censored. Freedom of speech is alive and well at Revolution Radio. There is no, you don't have to talk in code. You don't have to do any of that stuff. There's no censorship. So I think it's a great platform and a great way to get the information out there and not having to worry about, being censored like we are on some of these bigger platforms. So check it out, guys. Like I said, freedomslips.com. And then also, if you're a music fan, I'm also there. I don't promote it as much, but I'm in the Hawk's Nest Friday evenings, usually about 8:30, and playing music. We're talking about all different kinds of things related to music, and that usually goes from 8:30 till whenever. There's not usually a time limit. I usually go for about 3 hours or so. So that's Friday evenings in the Hawk's Nest, guys, and freedomslips.com. Thank you, guys, for all of you who are tuning in there and talking to me in the chat and interacting. I love it. Your support means the world to me. So thank you, guys. I wanted to get that out of the way. But so I'm telling you guys, like I was saying just a second ago, looking forward to this interview, and the guest I'm going to be having on, definitely, it was just weird how we kind of bumped into each other, and I've been on a journey, and as I was letting my guests know, it's been nagging at me for well over a year that I need to do I don't even know if it's a quest or whatever. I'm sure my guests can explain to me what's going on, but I was saying to them that it's been nagging at me for well over a year, and it's not getting any better. It's getting more intense and just really in my thoughts, and when I'm doing my shadow work, that I need to do a vision quest. I don't know what I would call it. So I'm learning about this, guys, probably as much as you guys are. So that's why I'm happy to have my guest on. I'm not going to babble too much more. Let's go ahead and get my guest on and get this conversation started. I would like to welcome you to the first time to the crypt there. Welcome, Nathan Crabtree, also known as the Crystal Spider. Welcome, Nathan.
What's up, guys? It's nice to be here. My name's Nathan Crabtree. My spiritual name is Crystal Spider. So.
Love the name. Love the name.
Yeah, thank you.
And, we can get into that. I mean, I'm so excited to have you on here, Nathan. I'm very blessed, and I thank you so much for when I reached out. I first met you when we did a podcast together on Chris Jansen's End Evil podcast, and we were on together with Chris, and that's when I first heard a bit of your story and found out a little bit about you, and then I started following your work, and I reached out to you And just let you know what was going on, as I was saying, I've been having this nagging for well over a year, this need, and that's what it is. It's a need. Like it's not getting any better over time. It's getting worse. That there's something that the spirits are trying to tell me that I need to do, and I can't describe it any other way than that, guys. As I said at the beginning, I'm learning as much as any of you maybe that are listening right now. So maybe start, Nathan, with a little bit about your story, and then who knows where it's going to go from there.
Yeah, I think I'd like to say that probably quantumly, what's happening is you're trying to heal from, damage that's been done to you from your past and stuff. And for that reason, maybe you're getting nudges that you need to start looking into more natural forms of healing that are suppressed and hidden, by the powers that shouldn't be. Mm-hmm. But yeah, my story. I grew up in Missouri. I was born in Arkansas in the U.S. Midwest, and went to Christian school, for about almost 12 years, first grade to 12th grade. I was in public school in kindergarten. My parents had some modicum of common sense, but they weren't spiritually enlightened beings. As we like to generate on the One Great Work Network, that's what we're all about, is generating more enlightened individuals so that humanity doesn't lose the fight against the evil powers that should not be. But I'm sure Crypt Rick has done an amazing job educating you guys and all of his guests about that. So, yeah, I began to wake up after high school, after I started using cannabis, and realized it really hit home at that point that there is a big problem with immorality in government. And I was all of a sudden an enemy, a public enemy, just because I had I found a healing herb that had helped me. And really, there was nothing like it, at the time. It was my first encounter with any kind of psychoactive, natural medicine. And I was just like, I can't believe that people will literally ruin your life.
Yep.
Yeah. Put you in the slammer. Kill you if they have to prevent you from having something that everyone has a right to partake in. So there's a lot of examples of this. Our mission as light warriors, and shadow workers too, but our mission on Earth is to just be able to put our souls back together after all of the torture and trauma, and be able to protect the innocent as well, so that other people don't have to have as bad of a life as we've had to experience. Not to say that it's not worse in other parts of the world and stuff, and that that my lot was really as bad as some other people's, but also not to discount the suffering and the needless enslavement, that we've all been put through. So
absolutely right. Yeah. And we are. I've been saying for so long that spiritually, this is a spiritual war, and it definitely, I have no doubt in my mind, Nathan, that's what we're up against. And people are so lost now by design. Absolutely. Do I think that the powers that should not be are pulling the strings and making people putting people where they are? They have a huge hand in that, and I'm quite sure a lot of people that are listening or know what I'm talking about. And so when you say that we're healing from a lot of past traumas, I totally agree. I was also in a Catholic school from grade 1 to 8, and glad I got out of that. I was thinking about that today, and when I got into high school in grade 9, I remember when I first got there, most people are petrified of high school. I went to the opposite. I did not want to go to a Catholic or Christian high school, so I was like, I'm going to one that has nothing to do with that. And it was such a breath of fresh air when I walked into that place. It was just so different, the vibe, the atmosphere. So that's just a little side note, but
I mean, that's saying a lot, that a government school would be better than something claiming to be in touch with God,
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, and that's the only way I can describe it. It was such a
I mean, the Catholic Church, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, and I have a big fight to pick with any organized religion. That's a fight I'll pick, and I'm glad I pulled away, and did that in grade like I said, after grade 8, I was like, I'm getting away from this. It was just horrible. It was really horrible, and so I'm glad I did. And I'll always remember that feeling I got. Like, I wasn't scared to go to high school. I was so happy when I walked in. I was like, wow. So it was that says something, like you said. But
hey, Rick. Do we have live listeners on the show right now,
no,
or is this? Oh,
pre-recorded.
okay, cool.
Yeah, I was holding. I will start doing live. I've had people ask me. They're like, "You should do live," and I've done a couple.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that down the road I will for sure. I've done a few, and I might start doing that maybe once a week, having just even a 1 hour live show, which I think would be really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
one step at a time.
exactly. Take your time and do it. That's what a year ago I didn't even know what anything I had to do with. I had none of this technology. I had no idea what podcasting was really, like how to do it or what OBS was or anything. So I made leaps and bounds in a year, for sure. So I'm just slow and steady wins the
Hey,
race.
so for the listeners, why don't we do a real quick meditation, a
Sure.
real quick
Yes.
guided visualization of everyone who's tuned in who considers themselves to be a truther and a natural law justice person. Just visualize yourself and the entire group, the collective listening right now, me and Rick, all of us healing, all of our swollen, worn out, busted chakras and body parts. We all need a little bit of healing, I would say. Probably most people do, and so for that reason, let's just all have a small moment of silence and just try to fill our hearts and our bodies with uplifting, upgrading, healing, divine energy, shall we? Just for a couple seconds. So thank you, everybody. That was a really nice blessing, and it's important to have gratitude in your hearts for what you do have in life.
Absolutely.
We are trying to attract a better way of life to ourselves, and just continue whenever you think about it during this show and beyond, to visualize yourself and everyone in the tribe. Rick, me, Mark Passio, the different people who all need a little bit of empowerment and a little bit of improvement. We all need maybe a DNA upgrade or something. So whenever you think about it, just help send some energy, our way and stuff, and also help, use the method on yourself, the kind of visualization and the alignment with the path of improvement and healing and stuff.
Absolutely. Well said. Yeah. That quiet moment every once in a while really makes a difference, for me. It really does. So I'm glad that we did that. Thank you, Nathan.
Yeah.
But so, like we were talking about trauma, I guess that's a good place to start. I know I've talked about my story through the medical, what I went through with the medical industry, who supposedly wants to heal people and help people, which they do nothing of the sort. Can you tell a little bit about your story with the medical, what you went through medically, and because I think it's important because it shows people where you started.
God, I went through the ringer.
Me too.
Of a year. It was about a year and a half ago. So what happened was, my energy was just it was extreme, and I being an anarchist, and without this coronavirus terrorism nonsense, the threats of violence and the dictates to wear masks in public and shit, I was just like, you know what? I'm about done with this crap.
Mm-hmm.
And I lived in the country, in a gun-friendly neighborhood, right? And I was like, hey, why don't I just start carrying my rifle down the street? It's my street, right? Why not? The neighbors, they didn't really even. I didn't ask them, but one of them gave me a high five when he saw me, and the problem was, your local traitors to humanity, they just don't think for themselves, and they're like, oh, hey, guy with a gun, oh, we better pull him over. And I that night I was like, I didn't bring my permission slip from the government to have the suppressor on the AK and stuff, and I was like, well, I guess this is what you asked for, Nathan. So I decided to run away, and I ran away for about 45 minutes to an hour. Got away from the backup that they had. The state, what was it? State troopers, Marshfield police, state troopers, and I was kind of like, well, I guess they're about to send helicopters. So, it's going to be a long night in the woods. I had reloads, I had water, I had a whole backpack full of organite and energy and stuff. So, but hey, they kind of, I got away from them. I took a kind of like World War II, but they've got the helicopters, they got the drones, so they had the upper hand, right, for sure. But at least for their state troopers and Marshfield police, I took an advantage up the hill, undercover and I think they just had enough for the night, so they went home. I actually didn't get in any trouble, strangely. I went about 2 weeks at my house, doing my thing, making videos and stuff, and then the tragic part in the story happened when I was at my dad's house one day, and these two men showed up. It was FBI and ATF, right? And they were just asking me some questions. They didn't actually have any problems. I told them I was an anarchist. I was like, well, hey, they were like, hey, you have to stop when the police. You should probably stop when the police ask you. And I was like, well, is there a way to make it so that I don't have to stop when the police ask me? And they were like, they just wanted to make sure that I wasn't, completely out of my mind and about to assassinate Hillary Clinton or something. They specifically asked if I was going to assassinate Hillary Clinton, because it's something I said as a joke on the show and stuff. And I was like, nah, I don't think so, But in my mind, I was like, well, if I got a fucking chance, if I had a chance, I don't know. It's like, but nah, that's not what I was doing. So they let me go. My parents, this is where it went bad. I should have told them not to tell my parents, because they asked. They were like, hey, should we tell your parents? And I was like, oh yeah, sure. I didn't think anything that bad would happen of it, but I had this feeling in my heart that if my parents found out, they would do something really dumb. And that's sure enough exactly what happened. They tried to get me diagnosed as bipolar and stuff, and they actually lied to me. They told me that my dad said he was having a heart attack. He said he was having a heart attack the next day after that ATF visit. They insisted I come over, and I was like, oh, okay. And I went and saw a counselor, and I was like, all right, well, I'll see a counselor. Why not? Sure. I still see the counselor to this day. He likes me and stuff. I still see him, but he wasn't really the bad guy here. He was just kind of trying to do what they paid him to do and stuff. Yeah. And I got back home. They didn't like my energy. They didn't like it one bit. And part of the reason why they didn't like it is because I was like a full-grown man, trying to do my own thing, right? And, they weren't used to my true self. Because, your parents, they can sometimes put you in a box and expect you to behave a certain way. Right. And that's just not how I was behaving that day. So my daddy was like, hey, Nathan, I'm about to have a heart attack. You and mom need to go and take me to the hospital. And we get to the hospital. They fucking check me in, and I think that we're going to the ER, and they're about to operate on my dad. And I get there, and all of a sudden there's machine gun guards with dogs, military police at the hospital. I'm fucking locked in there, and then they want to shove a COVID prod up my nose. And I had done my research. I was like, oh, hell no. These motherfuckers, they're about to fucking fuck me up. And, I tried to run out of the hospital. They wouldn't take no for an answer. These people were creeps. They were psychopath, order following creeps. Right. One of them even seemed like he might even have a little bit of pedophile vibes going on. He was just gross. Wow. And they were trying to do this strange, we're your friend. This girl over there at the hospital, she was like, oh, I'm your friend. So why don't you let me do this? And I was like, you're not my friend. You just met me.
Right.
Yeah. So they had me locked there for a week. When I got out, my energy levels had dropped by 60%, and I was just completely traumatized to the point of having a 5-month PTSD downward spiral, not being able to sleep at all for 5 months. Finally, manifested some kind of heart condition or something. Felt like, I had a heart attack because I was binge eating. Uncontrollable binge eating, right. Gaining weight, unable to sleep. My kidneys started hurting. I had some kind of heart attack or something stroke or something in my heart one day, and it was a fast downward spiral to the point where my energy dropped all the way to 1% and less. Could barely walk, couldn't run anymore. I was used to running, miles and miles. Couldn't do that anymore. Could barely walk, and I was just like telling my girl at the time, I was like, hey, I think I just need to take a trip, maybe drive somewhere and jump off of a bridge or something. Mm-hmm. And, I ended up having a seizure, ended up having a grand mal seizure. The emergency, room people, the paramedics, my girl had to call paramedics. They had to call paramedics, and she was like, I never seeing this guy again. They killed him, So it was just, I woke up, I actually blacked out for 4 days, woke up with a bunch of shit plugged up to me, some giant 5-foot-long booger coming out of my nose that was apparently a feeding tube. I didn't know these things existed. They had IVs in me hooked up to what looked like chemotherapy machines, all kinds of balloons on my arms, a catheter. They wanted to put me into, their electroencephalogram, not that, but CAT scan thing, the magnetic CAT scan tube thing, which just fried my brain. I could feel it. I wiggled my way out of there. They wanted me to stay in that thing for 15 minutes, and I couldn't. I physically couldn't. So, wow. Yeah, it was a mess. It went on for 10 days. They had people bursting in the room at all hours of the day, demanding blood and saying the doctor ordered blood, and we're going to shove this needle right back in the same hole over and over again. Jesus. And then they had supposed COVID patients flying in all the time. The whole time I was in the ICU, the whole place smelled like diarrhea. The bed smelled like diarrhea. Even when they got me to the cleaner room, it still smelled like diarrhea, and I could barely breathe. I was like, I'm about to die, reincarnate in a bad reality. I was like, oh shit, I fucked up. I screwed up my karma. My girl's gonna die. Her mom's gonna die. My parents are gonna die. All of my family is just gonna be thrown off and die. I was like, I just caused 15 people to die because I died is what I was convinced. I was like, I'm gonna pay for this for a really long time. I might even be lost in hell forever. Never find my way back to the truth. And, I was about to reincarnate is what I thought. But amazingly, that didn't happen. I survived. They took me to this place that was a recovery center. It wasn't the worst recovery center that money could buy, but it also wasn't in a place full of enlightened people either. So I was stuck there for 2 months. That sucked. I got out, almost back home, back to kind of safety. I was like, I began the path of healing at that point. In that recovery center, on the way home, I was beginning the path of quantum healing and energetic, what can be considered almost like divine healing and stuff. Because what else could heal me from all that trauma? Yeah. What else could do it other than, sheer amount of will, knowledge, and intention. So that's still what I'm rolling on. My heart is still a little bit sore. It's still got trauma. My back needs work. I don't really have anybody around who can really work with me, to do the kind of physical work that needs to be done on so many people. The massages and stuff. I'm kind of broke. I can't afford to pay for a massage, unfortunately. But, one day, I know that we will one day have a healing center where we can all just, massage each other whenever we feel like it. So that's kind of my life mission and stuff. And I just want to be a shining good example for other people to show what is possible, because I came from a place of being within a centimeter of death. It actually feel like I was murdered. It's on a soul level. I'm not sure. Sometimes I even wonder if I didn't, collapse some kind of timeline, and that quantumly I jumped into a different timeline or a parallel dimension or something where I survived and didn't get shot by the cops. I didn't get shot by the cops. I didn't die in the hospital, and somehow I'm still here. And I'm doing, I would say, in some ways better than ever. In some ways, ironically, I never would have believed it. I never would have thought it was possible when I was having that downward spiral. I would have never thought that it would have one day made me stronger, but I'm trying to be that example to show what can be done if a person engages the will and chooses the path of healing for yourself. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Wow. Thank you for sharing that, Nathan. That is such a powerful story. It really is. And I heard you kind of touch on it when we did the interview with Chris, but hearing it again, it's just really, I mean, and it all started by them kind of tricking you to go into the hospital. That's the part that's really, the deception to get you there. And you're going there because you care. You think your father's, in
Finally,
trouble.
a year and a half later, he told me. Finally, a year and a half my dad told me that he intentionally did something to screw me up and knew it was going to screw me up. And he says, yeah, I did something wrong. So what? A year and a half later, the whole time he was trying to say that it was all my fault and they were just doing this because, they were concerned about my safety and shit. And then turns out a year and a half later, from the horse's mouth, he says, no, I intentionally fucked you over.
Wow.
But I don't think he expected it to actually kill me is the thing.
Right, right. I mean, do you think he thought he was, well, actually, no, because like you just said, he admitted that he intentionally did it. So, I mean, that's crazy. And
I thought they were just naive idiots the whole time. My mom, I don't think my mom didn't intentionally fuck me over like that. She just went along with it. He was kind of the mastermind there.
Right.
So.
Jeez, yeah. And then the creepy part is, like you said, when the nurse is telling you, like, I'm your friend. I'm here.
Well,
like
he works at the hospital as a neurosurgeon. He's a career neurosurgeon. So, of course, he knows what they're going to do. Yep. Of course, he knows how the hospital is. Yep. It wasn't a surprise to him, I'm sure. He was like, I paid for this. They arranged a court case. While I was in there being, they those people in the ER, they caused me a nosebleed with that COVID prod because I tried to run out and they had 6 men. They had 6 men tackle me and hold me down and rape my nose with a fucking metal prod. So
Jesus. Yeah. Against your will, obviously. Like, I mean, crazy stuff. And I mean,
and my dad wanted me to be on drugs for years after that. And he was manipulating me and saying that the court needed me to be on drugs. And I was like, oh, am I fucked? Am I done for? Is my brain going to be fucking garbage? They tried to have me on lithium. They tried to have me on 3 other shit. And I was just refused. I was like, hell no. No. And it was a big argument that went on for weeks and weeks. And it just caused me so much trauma that I literally died. So,
yeah, I mean, the stress of that too. I mean, and the fact, and that's the scary part about Nathan, about these drugs that they're putting people on, especially when I see them doing it to really young children. They're putting them on these powerful psychiatric drugs and they're putting it, it's not like they're even putting some people on just one. Some people are on multiple of these drugs, and that is a scary thing to me, especially for younger, children, and they're putting them on these drugs because, as people know, your brain's not even really fully developed until you're in your 20s. So, I mean, the damage that they're doing, I'm so glad that you didn't take them, because, I mean, who knows where you would be now? I don't think you'd be anywhere where you are.
They forced injected me with this stuff. Wow. I forget what it's called. They wouldn't let me out of there. They told me if I don't take drugs, they don't know when I'm getting out. No constitutional rights. Jeez. Imprisonment without trial. bunch of Nazis, communists running that place.
No doubt. Yeah, and if you don't get this injection, you can't leave. Like, what does that tell you? Are we living in a free world, guys? Like, really? Like, let's be honest. If Nathan's in there and he has to get something done against his will, he doesn't want to take these drugs, doesn't want these injections, doesn't want a metal rod jammed up his nose,
didn't commit any crimes,
didn't commit a crime, and this is how
didn't commit any crimes. There was no trial, nothing. I was just in pharmaceutical hell for a week.
Wow, incredible. Yeah. And I mean, you look at it in that aspect, and you can just blow it up to what's going on in the world when you think about it. I mean, people are just, they're doing shit against their people's will, and I mean, people got to start, getting right and fighting back to this, because they're doing a number on us, Nathan. I mean, they really are. And every time I think it can't get worse, it gets worse, and then it gets worse again. And
bro, it hurt me so bad because I was flying. I was in a really high place. I thought I was on like a path that was only getting better and better and better, and the rug was pulled out. It was like I fell off a 1,000,000-foot cliff. It was just a free fall into hell. And I was like, every day I woke up, I was like, I can't believe I'm in this shit. I can't believe this shit is even continuing. Like, the trauma in my heart, it was like it manifested some kind of, like I said, stroke or something.
Absolutely. And I do believe that if you're being like you were saying, you got like PTSD from it, and these physical conditions started showing up when you're under that much stress. Of course, it's going to manifest in the physical. I mean, it has to. I mean, how else is it going to express?
Completely took me down. I thought I was some kind of hard ass, but no, I couldn't even fight my way out of that. Doctors.
Well, little doctors. I mean, right? It took 6 of them.
I tried. I somehow knew. I was like, if I actually try to attack these people, it's just they're gonna get me.
Oh yeah. You would never get. They would just institutionalize you, and you would never get out. And then
they said that no one's ever escaped in the history of their emergency room with the security. They said no one's ever actually been able to escape.
Wow.
So
what does that say?
Yeah.
Jeez. And these are supposed to be people that are here to help you and care about your health.
Professional order following. They knew Krav Maga. They like the people who are runners. These were young kids in their 20s, runners, took Krav Maga and shit, and I was like, oh no. Yeah,
that's crazy. All because you were doing things different too. Like that's another thing that really bothers me. That is, if you're kind of doing your own thing, like you said, you were doing great, and you were on a upward trajectory, but because it wasn't what they wanted or what they considered to be normal or whatever, then all of a sudden there's something wrong with you, and that's really a bad place that we're in. Wow. I tell you.
Oh yeah, man. Open your eyes, people.
Yeah.
Open your eyes, please, before more of us fucking get killed, you know?
I totally agree. That's what me and you keep trying to say. I mean, I tell people that every show I can, and I try to let people know what's going on, and a lot of people can't even really, they willingly don't look at it. I mean, I think that they know at a spiritual level, I hope, that things are messed up, but I think they just don't, they're living in a state of denial, and it's a dangerous place to be when you're not looking at things for what they are. And so I'm hoping that people that listen,
one of the worst things about the whole thing is they were telling me that I needed to delete the videos and stuff that I had made while I was in that little pharmaceutical hell for a week. They were like, oh, you need to delete these videos. They had people at the court watching my videos, and they're like, hey, you need to delete this shit. And so I actually told my girlfriend to just delete my channels to cover my ass, and then I was like, I'll re-upload it later. I'll just delete the channels. And so she deleted my library, Odyssey. She deleted my BitChute at the time. And when I got out, I didn't really think I was just gonna go down the toilet in an uncontrolled, like, fell off a cliff and died. I wasn't expecting that. So the whole time as I was dying, I was like Nobody will ever know my name. They will not. No one will have any idea what happened. I will have just disappeared. And Maria West, she was even kind of worried about me because she was like, that guy he just fell off. He just disappeared.
Yeah.
She was like, what happened to Nathan? She said later. She was trying to text people, figure out what happened to me. So all of my legacy, all of the podcasts that I'd made probably well over 100, maybe 150 by then. I still have the data, and I got it back up on BitChute. I'm not back up on Odyssey yet, but subscribe to me on BitChute. I don't feel like I've got the following I need, so.
Right. Yeah, get it back up for sure. Yeah, like I can't believe, like, what was their justification for you deleting these videos? Like, just that's crazy to me. Like that, it's crazy they were watching it.
God, they're just cowards, bro. They're just fucking cowards.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else could it be? Yeah, you're afraid of the truth.
Exactly.
You're afraid of the truth. You're afraid of someone standing up and fucking doing something against your NWO crap.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're not used to somebody standing up to them like that. And, so yeah, delete all the information, which is, that should tell people that are listening.
The judge, the FBI told me that the judge was angry at me and the Marshfield police were afraid of me.
Wow. Crazy. Because why? Mm-hmm. Because you're telling the truth. That's why you're.
Oh, just because I ran away from them and I didn't stand down like a bitch. Yeah. I had my machine gun. I was ready. I was looking them in the face, like, pull the trigger, boy.
Yeah. They're not used to that for sure. I mean, you're supposed to roll over. That's what they expect.
Ironically, I had no fear when I was running from them. Zero fear, and I had agreed with myself ahead of time that I wasn't going to fear death. And when it finally happened, when I started having the downward spiral, I was afraid. I was terrified. I was mortified, petrified, just, and then I got in that hospital and I was like, I'm about to die. And I'm so afraid. I'm so afraid of where I'm going to be, after I die.
Right. Yeah, I can understand that. And it must have been so. I'm just thinking about when you got out, and it just really bothers me because like I keep saying, you were doing so good before all of this, and because you weren't doing what they consider normal and the way to be, then they put this whole thing in motion, which causes you so much trouble, pain, depression,
to the core of my being.
Yeah,
worse than by far anything else had ever hurt me that bad. So
exactly, and then they mask it as in caring, and that they're trying to care for you. That's the most evil part of it, in my opinion, is that's what they're masking it as. And as I was telling you before we went and like we started the interview, I mean I myself have been put through the medical ringers from these doctors.
No way for me to take any legal. I see. I'm trying to be a law expert now,
right,
so I can handle myself legally and stuff. But my dad basically just paid the court. He just paid the court, paid the hospital. He was like, "Hey, murder this kid." You know what I mean?
Wow. And how many people? And there's no.
They took my gun rights. I'm about to get them back. About to get those gun rights back. Get my AK back and shit.
Yeah, they're doing that in Canada right now. They got a new bill that they snuck through.
Hey, people, be smarter than the government, right? You got to be one step ahead.
Yep.
So certain countries, they don't let you have guns, right? See if they let you have high-powered lasers.
Good point.
In some ways, a high-powered laser is actually better than a gun as far as self-defense. Because if you hit someone in the face with a high-powered laser, they ain't gonna be able to shoot you after that. They're blind.
Yeah. I mean, they're like, Canada, they've been really stripping away our gun rights slowly, but they really did a knockout blow, in my opinion. And they snuck a bill C-21, and it was supposed to be just. They were selling it as just a ban on handguns. And then at the last minute, the 11th hour, they snuck in.
And you know the reason why they're doing that? The reason.
I know why. But
it's because they want to kill everyone.
Yep.
Of course. What other reason would it be?
Mm-hmm. Well, they were selling it as, we're doing this for your own good. It's going to protect you. We're going to get rid of the handguns. And then at the 11th hour, they snuck in but if, this is added in. And now they're going after, they want to.
Good old Trudeau, right?
Yeah.
Good old Trudeau.
Yeah, and they want.
He's right on the same level as Hitler, probably a step above Hitler.
Oh, for sure. And what kills me is they're going after all semi-automatic guns. So now there's anything semi-automatic banned. And then what's really a kick in the ass is that if you can grandfather in if you have these guns, but you can't pass them on to your children or to loved ones or anyone like that. As soon as you pass away, you have to turn these guns in.
You might start working on your hand-to-hand combat.
I agree.
Figure out what weapons you can have.
Yeah.
A bow staff is a good choice.
Yep.
Go get a bow staff.
Yeah. Crossbow.
Learn to run. You learn to outrun these people. That's what I did. They had a car and had backup on the way, and I still outran their ass. I'm not trying to be a hard ass about it either.
Yeah. No, I get it. We're allowed crossbows, which I think are a more vicious weapon than anything. I mean, I just like, wow. I've seen broadhead arrows in some of these arrowheads, and I'm like, these are vicious. Have those, no problem. I mean, those are at least for
you got to think tactical. It's the sacred masculine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and I totally agree. But they're really they are coming after guns, and it's like you said, 100%. I agree. They want people disarmed, right? And
can you buy gunpowder? I would stock up on gunpowder.
You could. I mean, at one time you can. You still have to have here in Canada, it's called a PA.
Oh, another good one. Go buy some if you need some backup, some firepower. Just go to the liquor store and buy some Everclear. Everclear at the liquor store. Yep. Everclear at the liquor store and a road flare.
Yeah.
It might, if they want to bring that energy to people, it's just not going to go well. It's all that we have to say. It's just you started it.
Yep. I totally agree that that's why they're trying to disarm people. They're peeling away the rights left and right too. And I just really wish people would get more angry about it. I mean, there is some people that are really upset about this gun bill, and surprisingly, a lot of people that I talk to even know about it that don't have firearms. So, it's getting out there, and I'm definitely going to do a few shows on it, showing my disapproval. And that people need to repeal this and get rid of this. Not that I think they can. I think once it's kind of put in stone, it's hard to walk it back. But they are definitely, they just basically are selling it, Nathan, as they don't want any sports shooting. Done away with that. Home defense, self-defense, fuck that. Nope, can't have a gun for that.
Oh, yeah, but
hunting.
Kevin Trudeau, does he have Secret Service with Uzis and shit trained by Israeli?
Yeah, of course. Rules for rules for them, but not for us.
Guns for me, but not for you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's crazy. They just want it for hunting, and that's how they're selling. Because Canada's a big hunting country. I mean, that's like part of our heritage. So, I mean, there's a lot of people that are upset about this bill, but it's just showing you that they are slowly taking away our guns. And I mean, people should be really alarmed by that, because once we're unarmed, what other reason would they have to unarm us is if it wasn't to take over? They don't want people being able to defend themselves.
Hey, you got to read your history books.
Yeah.
Is that not what every totalitarian dictatorship does? Yep. Is that not like part of their playbook?
Yep. Disarm the public. Yeah, exactly. Yep. So, I like that we're talking about this, because I think people need to start really realizing what's going on. And I'm sure a lot of people that are listening to this, they know what's going on, but I'm hoping some new people will listen to what we're saying and see like the authority, this false belief in authority where it's gotten us, and it's going to bring it even worse. These order followers and that, just what they did to you in the hospital. I mean, that should be enough to really wake people up.
So what I discovered after that experience is that whenever somebody is doing something immoral to you, inflicting trauma and stuff, the universe and the creator actually has an occult contract with that person. And what that person is doing in the ultimate long run is actually giving you some kind of gift, if you can recognize it as a gift. So they could do terrible fucking things to you, but in the spiritual long run, because they didn't have the right to do that, they are only sabotaging themselves. And what I've tried to do is take that trauma that they put in my heart and source it as some kind of magic or something that then fuels me to be stronger and better than the person who did that. You know what I mean?
I agree. Yeah, turn it invert it back. Yeah, to use it as a positive. I 100% agree.
When you're dying though,
yeah.
when you're going through that downward spiral, it's like I was like, I don't know, man. I didn't perceive it as a gift. I was like, I'm never gonna recover. This is fucked. My whole legacy's gone. The one great. I'll never be a part of Mark Passio's club after this. You know,
Yeah.
I wanted to be on the One Great Work Network. I wasn't at the time, but
yeah, and that's the thing is that when you're in that state of depression, I know I've went through bouts of it over the years, and you don't think of it as a positive at the time. That's for sure. It's like the worst, shittiest place that you can be, and I've been in some really dark places in my life, like when I went through these depressions, and it's hard to look at it as a positive at the time. But when you look back on it, if you can pull yourself out of it, it is a gift, and I think.
And it's a mind game too, because it can be turned into a gift, but you have to be the one who turns it into a gift.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's the trick. So, I mean, wow, thank you for sharing your story like that. I mean, I think it's just a great place to I wanted to start it there so people kind of knew the journey that you've been on, and where it all started and how you're getting to where you are now, because I love the way that you talk about the spiritual side of it, because I think a lot of people don't even think about that aspect of it, and it's something that I always think about is the spiritual side of it. And as I learned more about it, Nathan, I realized that that's what I was saying earlier, that we're in a spiritual war here, and they are definitely after our energy and our souls, and it's a spiritual war. And I think until
it's full spectrum dominance.
Absolutely.
They even have a military term for it.
Yeah.
They want control of everything. Yep. The air, the water, the food, your mind, especially your mind.
Absolutely.
If they can get control of your mind,
where do we go? Yeah, I mean, then what left? What if they have your mind? What's left? I mean, they have.
And that's the whole. See, these are dark alchemists coming up with these weird pharmaceuticals, naming them like, I mean, demonic names, Xanax and shit.
Yeah.
This is some kind of strange dark alchemy. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's a perversion. Yeah.
Yeah, they invert everything that's good. That's and the fucked up part, Nathan, is that they'll take something that's good, invert it into something that is twisted and not good, and then they sell it back to the people as good. And then people are like, "Oh, this is a great thing." And I mean,
man, so you got to do the great work just for your own soul's sake. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If just for your safety. Yep. Like start there. Start with just your safety and your life path, and then help other people too. That's the whole point of the great work.
Yeah.
If you want to help yourself, a good way to do that is to start helping others. That's how you attract help to yourself.
Absolutely.
That's how you attract healing to yourself, is you work on other people.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And I think a lot of people are lacking the work on themselves. That was a big part for me, was doing the work on myself. I had to really get brutally honest with me and then start taking accountability for my actions and my thoughts, and stop pointing the finger outwardly, which I think a lot of people do. They look at their situation, they point their finger and blame everybody, everything else, but they never point it squarely back at themselves. And when I did that, that's when changes started to happen, and to realize that, I'm in this predicament.
They're lost. There's so many people that are just lost.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a disgrace.
Yeah. And I think about the way they're like the media, how they've, especially over the last 3 years is when I really noticed it, the control that the media has over people. I keep trying to remind people, because people forget things so quickly these days, and I keep trying to repeat. In a lot of my shows, I tell people they shut the world down. It wasn't like they shut the world down.
This is some 1984 shit. Rewrite the past, Ministry of Truth.
Yeah, they shut the world down. I'm like, and it wasn't for like a day or two or years. They shut the world down. They really went for it. And so I'm glad that we're talking about what we are, that how, what evil we are up against. And you summed it up great, that we're against these.
People better take a good, solid, long look at it.
Yeah.
If they want to know. If they want to know and not be blindsided.
Yeah.
They better start studying.
Agreed. Yeah, at least
Yeah.
start. And I just have trouble even getting people to really look into this stuff. I don't know if you run into that, but I constantly do. I get a million excuses why people can't look at a presentation or take the time to look at things. And it gets frustrating to the point where I'm just like, okay, you know, you don't want to look into it. I can't force you. So, I mean, I'm
Yeah,
hoping
can't
that if I
force them.
can't force them and I just try to plant seeds and hopefully,
So again, what comes to my mind is that these people are actually giving us truthers and light workers. They're strangely, in some weird way, they're kind of giving us a gift. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because their immorality will be our salvation. So
Right, right, and a good like exactly. And I want to ask you because we kind of talk. How does so I know some people are like I always talk to people. I like to talk to people in person if possible. I get it. I just it's the way I am. I like to be. I like technology. I think it's great that we can do it. This is making this happen. This is how I met you. So technology definitely has a positive if it's used that way. But I still like the interaction in person. And a lot of people I talk to know things are totally messed up, and but they just kind of think they don't have any power. They think that they can't picture a world without government or without authority. And so, like,
so
what would your
we
advice
can
be to these
we
people?
can assist by teaching them how to think.
Mm,
You know what I mean? We can assist by diagnosing their illness, their mental disease, and reminding them that they were given power by the Creator,
right.
that they do actually have a free will, and that they can choose for themselves how much power they want to wield in the world. Might take some time to develop it, might take some effort to one day become a person who is empowered and is not being victimized constantly and threatened all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in the long run, like I said, if you can see through to the other side and hold the vision of the world that you would like to create. Maybe go read the book Reality Transurfing is a really good homework assignment for you, Crypt, and also for the listeners. If you find it to be part of your life path, I'm not saying everyone needs to do this, but that's what me and Maria we're really familiar with it. So that's one of the things I teach is reality transurfing, which is a type of quantum magic where you align your life path and your lifeline onto a path that is your creation. So whatever you see and envision for yourself, you can over time go in that direction.
Very powerful, yes. And so that's what what you're talking about is whatever you want to envision, it is attainable. But you have to start that path of first knowing where you want to get to and what you want, and then the whole part of it is putting that into
It
action.
might take a while. You want to hear something ironic and synchronistic?
Yes.
What right before that whole event happened, I was listening to this band Freedom Call, a great kind of 90s metal band. This album they had this song on it, 666, and one of their songs, though, one of the lyrics was like, should I die to be free? The time has come. Time to die. Should I die to be free? And I was listening to that and I was just crying for weeks because of how amazing it was. I was like, damn, this is like the best fucking band ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I was living that album. And another one of the songs was like talking about losing the love of your life and how it hurts you forever that you lost the love of your life. And then I just got murdered, bro. And my fucking girl, I knew she was gonna die without me, dude. It was just fucking wrong, bro.
Yeah.
I knew she was gonna die, and I don't know what would have happened, bro.
Fuck. Yeah. Jesus. I know that. Wow.
But I was on the path of freedom and stuff, and I that was going in my subconscious, I guess. And then, in the long run, that all happened, and maybe I'm more free now, in some strange way. In
Yep.
some strange, weird way, I still listen to the album, and it still makes me cry and stuff, and it just still gets me just wet, dude, in my eyes for fucking hours, bro.
That power of music, man. I'm glad it. I always say that the power of music, Nathan, is incredible, as we're seeing. I mean, I don't know. I think it can be a great healer. I really
I would
do.
love to be able to like play guitar and sing those songs, do covers and shit. So
Yeah, and there is more conscious band music getting put out there, which is actually great to see. I didn't really know about much of it for the longest time, and now I'm starting to discover a lot of bands that are actually putting truth out and putting a great message out and telling people what's going on point blank. Like they're just putting it in the lyrics for easy for people to figure out, and I think that's a great thing. And I know you love music. I know that for
hey, did you listen to any of my metal music yet?
I did. Yeah, I
Oh, cool.
did.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I've been watching all your videos actually every time. So yeah, definitely. And saw that you're a guitar player. I was like, wow, awesome. Uh, and
Yeah,
yeah, and I
thanks.
saw that when you were doing some of your I was watching some of your videos where you were doing the healing ceremonies with the different medicines, and
Uh-huh.
some people were playing like drums, and you were playing
Mm-hmm.
guitar. So
Yep.
powerful.
Yep, that's our church, Native American church, over in Missouri. So, if you're a listener from the States and you want to participate in private ceremonies, just send me a message. I'll do a couple FaceTimes with you to try to get a feel for your vibe and stuff. So, that's
Cool.
that's as a shaman in the church, that's one of the services I offer. So,
That's awesome, and it's needed. So thank you
yeah.
for that. I mean, I'm so glad I reached out to you, and our paths crossed for some reason. I believe that it was meant to happen. I don't believe in just coincidences or whatever. For some reason I knew I had to get a hold of you, and I know why now. Definitely why I had to, and so I just think, Nathan, though, like I talked to so many people that are lost, and we were kind of talking about it just a few minutes ago. Like you were saying, people are lost, and a lot of people are going through super hard times. I know people in my life that are really struggling, and I mean, I just want to get your thoughts. Where do they start to get out of this? Because I know you've been, like you just
See,
told
I
your
can I
story.
can tell you about reality transurfing, but when I was downward spiraling, nothing worked. Nothing. There was no saving me.
Okay,
I fell off a cliff. No amount of reality transurfing would have pulled me out of that moment, and I
okay.
had to go through it and come out the other side. So,
So people have to go through
what the
this.
one thing I would tell people is I don't personally believe in death. I don't personally believe that the soul and the experiencer and the person and the being ever actually dies, right? And I don't know what else to say other than, hey, there's a tribe of people who might be able to help. But if you've just got hit, if something just blew your shit up, I just say, God fucking have mercy on you, and I just hope that one day you can remember again and begin the path of healing.
Right. I
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. I wanted to ask you that because I just was talking to somebody today that's going through a really rough time, and and they're great people, and I just see the evil that is going on in this world and how they're trying to take people down, and I think people are just like we were saying lost. And do you think that I wonder because we're talking about spirit, and I know a big thing that was great for me was connecting back to nature. That was so important and powerful when I started doing that. And you must see that they're trying to break that connection, right? They don't want us connected to nature. And can you kind of talk about the power of that, like being connected with nature and
Well,
the
these
source?
people are perverse sorcerers.
Yep.
They want to destroy nature. They pretend like they care about the environment while simultaneously funding weird things like a space bubble is one of the things that I heard, I think, from Klaus Schwab, talking about they're going to put some kind of plastic bubble or something around the Earth.
Okay.
You know, spraying chemtrails in the sky, poisoning everything, you know, as if these people have any care in their soul. They'd go to rituals and perform cremation of care rituals.
Yeah.
They ain't trying to save the planet. Nah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's another topic I talk a lot about is the chemtrails and how they're poisoning us. Well, they're hitting us from everywhere. I mean, like I try to tell people, don't get
claiming that they care about the environment.
Yeah, that's what they claim.
Wanting to go and start environmental lockdowns and bullshit.
Yep. Yeah, and then it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy that how hard they're hitting us, and then they mask. As I was saying, the same thing.
They think that because of their left brain intellect and their military cunning, that everyone will become their slaves.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they think. They want to take everything.
Yep.
Everything you got, everything, and they want to just torture you for it for as long as you let them. Basically.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The torture will never stop raining down until enough people do something about it.
Yep.
Basically.
Absolutely.
You know? That's what psychopathy is.
Yep. And that's what I mean. I keep telling people, like, they keep taking and taking and taking, and
they've made contracts with interdimensional satanic demons.
Yep. Yep. I try to say that to people, Nathan, and most people, you start talking spirituality and you start talking Satanism, and you kind of lose them, a lot of the people I talk to, because I mean they've got this Hollywood version of Satanism, and they don't realize what they're up against. And I keep saying to them, you're dealing with like master dark psychologists, man. They know what they're doing, and nothing is the chance.
May God have mercy on their souls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree. And I mean, we're doing what we can. You are, I am, a lot of other great people are trying to show people what's going on. Mark Passio does amazing presentations. His podcast is amazing. Trying to show people what is going on in the world. And I mean, Mark Passio was part of the church, Church of Satan, he was in that whole church.
Man, coming from the priest in the Church of Satan.
He was a priest in the Church of Satan.
I mean, how more real do you need it to be?
Yeah, I mean, he's telling you exactly what's going on, and
he's bluffing about it. You think he's just joking?
Yeah, he's doing all these podcasts.
Does he look like he's joking?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so that's why I try to tell people this is the evil that we're up against, and we have to start fighting back. We have to, because it's only going to get worse and worse.
You better start fighting back.
Yeah. And like you said, they're not going to be happy till they own everything, and you are just, they're slaves.
Especially your soul. Especially your soul.
That's what they want. Yep.
You're not going to like what they're going to do to it either.
Mm-hmm.
They want to put it in a box where you'll probably just forever reincarnate into their stupid prison. You know what I mean?
Oh my God!
Set this place up so that you can just reincarnate here 10,000 times, and never remember what you did in a past life that earned you a place in this terrible fucking world.
Yep. Could you imagine? And they would too. Oh yeah, they would. They would. That's what they would want. Yeah. And you see all the dark stuff that they're doing. As we were just saying, I think about how they're poisoning the air, the water, our food, the whole world. And it's like, how can you not see what's in front of you? I mean,
you better start fighting back.
Yeah.
Because your soul depends on it.
Yep.
And the soul never dies.
Right. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Wow. And
your soul depends on how much of a fight you got in you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely.
It's just like that movie Mortal Kombat, I don't know if you ever saw that.
That was a great movie.
The sorcerer, from the other dimension, and once every, 10,000 years or whatever, the tournament begins, where if humanity loses the fight, then the sorcerer will bring them into his domain. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, they kind of put it point blank. And when somebody dies, he takes their soul. He just ingests their soul.
And he tortures it.
Yeah,
That's what he does.
Yep.
He chains it up, starts, going in on him.
Yeah, exactly. And what was I going to say? I just had a great thought while we were just talking about that part of the movie, and I just lost it. I hate when that happens. But yeah, it was this when you were saying that we were talking about the Mortal Kombat thing. I was just like, wow, like, and I had a great. It'll come back to me though, but definitely, yeah, satanic world that we're living in. Absolutely, everything is inverted, and that's how you know that what's going on. And I just hope that people really start taking this serious and start realizing what we're up against. As you were saying, like that's what they're after. They're after your soul and your mind. And I think a lot of people too, Nathan, like I kind of talk about slavery and that, and then some people have a hard time as soon as I bring that up, because immediately when they hear slavery, they're thinking, well, we don't have chains on us, we don't have somebody whipping at our back. But I'm thinking it's even worse than that, because they've enslaved our mind. You can't see those chains. It's even more dangerous.
It is more dangerous.
Yeah.
It's way more dangerous.
Yeah.
It's way more dangerous than just a prison.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
If they can take your mind, they can get you to do anything. You know what I mean? Put a mask on your face, claim there's an invisible virus that nobody has a microscope that can see a virus. Not even people at the hospital have that. Mm-hmm. And they're all just believing this.
Yeah.
No evidence. No evidence. No one ever showed me a coronavirus. I never seen a virus in my life. So what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Virologist.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck kind of poison medicine are you on?
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
You need to stop taking those pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'll back that up 1,000,000%.
You need to stop. Cut that shit out.
Yeah.
Know what I mean?
Then get back to nature and get back to the healing ways of real medicine, which is herbs and there's so like, and I'm glad
fasting. There's so many useful tools. So many of them.
Yeah, and that's why I love to talk to you about that, because that's so important. It was a game changer for me. Like I always talk about CBD because that was something that helped me so much. It was so powerful. I still use it every day. I grow my own now. I was getting stuff from the government because it was actually a high percentage of CBD, very low THC. And then, but I still had I don't trust the government. I never will. So I'm like, I want to grow my own. And so I started doing that. And I know the power of herbs and medicines that nature provides. And I'm a firm believer, Nathan.
Hey, man, for the listeners, can we just, the girl I was with at the time,
yep.
Can we just send her some healing? She needs it.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, a lot of healing needs to be done. It really does. I know, as I was saying earlier, Nathan, I know so many people that are suffering right now. And the healing that has to take place it's everywhere. A lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, it starts with you, though. It starts with you. Yeah, some people they don't know about healing. They think that it's not a thing. They think that it's some kind of myth. They think that Jesus, he's just a legend. They made that up. There's no such thing as a person healing. Mm-hmm. Don't you know everyone dies? We all just, as soon as you're born, you start slowly dying is some of the things these people tell themselves. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. And that sparked exactly what I was saying. I forgot is that I talk to a lot of people that are very religious, and they'll say, "Oh, we don't have to do much, because good's gonna win in the long run. Good always wins." And I always correct them. I'm like, "No, evil can win. Evil is winning, and it can win."
Yeah. What did Mark Passio say? I was watching a show the other day with the guy from Australia. And he was like, a person saying that good always wins in the long run, so I don't have to do anything, is the equivalent of somebody whose house is on fire saying, well, fires always just burn themselves out, so I don't have to fucking do anything.
Yep. Exactly. And then it's so true. And I do hear people say that, especially like I was saying just now, religious people, they really like that one. And then you have the UFO people, they think that the aliens are coming down and they're going to save us. And we've got this, but I look at it and I know exactly what these powers that should not be are doing. They're putting us in a stand down mode and just kind of letting us sit there and waiting for somebody else to come and save us. And I'm
It's
like,
intimidation, like Nazi Germany fucking tactics, bro. It's military tactics, full
absolutely.
spectrum dominance,
Yep.
especially dominance of the fucking mind, especially that.
Yep. Oh, I know. I mean, I can't even look at TV shows anymore, and I like when you see it, you can't unsee it. And I just see like, and I know I have people in my life, Nathan, still to this day that are totally programmed by the TV. And when the coronavirus was happening, they bought it hook, line, and sinker. They still are. They still watch it every day and are just controlled by it. This fear
Hey,
that
man, get a ninja sword. Get a ninja sword.
Yeah.
In some ways, a ninja sword's better than a gun. In certain situations, close combat, a ninja sword might be better than a gun. You know what I mean?
Yep. And do
If
you
you
see?
can,
This is a good question. Do you think we can pull ourselves out of this without it getting to that point where we're? I don't want. I gotta be
well,
careful
dude,
how I
it's the
say it.
sacred masculine. It's an eternal concept. Like that's just wishful thinking. Like that's just wishful, like little bitch logic right there. Can we get out of this without it having to go to violence? It was like you're already in a state of violence.
Right.
It's already there.
Yep.
It's already there. Show up. Show up for the fight if you want to win. You know what I mean?
Great point. Yep.
What are you talking about? Can we win the war without having to lift a finger?
Yeah, and that's where a lot of people are at. Like, don't worry, it'll work itself out.
Jesus will save us. Jesus will save us. We just need to go to church a few more times.
Yep. And if not, then the aliens they'll pick up the slack and they'll save us. And I'm just like, wow.
Jesus has got my back. Of course, I commit as many sins as I want, and He forgives me. For eternally, He just never stops forgiving me, no matter how much I sin.
Yep. And it's work. This is going to take work. It takes work on yourself. I work on myself every day. I know you do. And that's what I think people have to realize too, that this is going to take work and you got to work on yourself. That's what as I was saying was really a big moment in my life is when I started really working on myself and, working on my health and all of that came into play. And I think that people have to start taking responsibility for what's going on in their life and what they're putting in their body. I think that's really important. I think of the food that we're eating, that if you want to even call it food.
I would say as a honest thing to say to other truthers and other light warriors and stuff and good people, don't be attached to everyone getting it. You can't be attached to everyone getting it. Being attached to everyone getting it is how they drag your ass back to hell. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They drag your ass. They lower your vibe down to their frequency, and they say, "Hey, one day I'll learn. One day I'll learn." But not until we've had enough fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not until we had enough of a terrible shit satanic party. Then maybe I'll learn. This is just manipulator, crap is what it is. Mm-hmm. It's like manipulator crap, and the Lord, the eternal one, the eternal true creator doesn't, that kind of crap doesn't fly with the eternal true creator. You know what I mean?
I agree.
So again, these world rulers and stuff, these World Economic Forum perverts, these satanic institutions, they're actually giving some of us a gift, because without them, what reason would we have to go and master all the shit that they know? All the tech. We might not have ever had a reason to go and learn all the programming languages and learn how to build our own computers and then to start up a new tribe. It's almost like hitting the chaos button on the computer in Jurassic Park or something. System reset, just system failure, complete rebuild. There's dinosaurs out. It's scary, but without that experience, would you have ever truly learned? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. I mean, you can look at it. I love the way you're turning it around and looking at it as a gift, because that's true. if we didn't have this going on, and would we ever really take the time to, like you just said, learn the tech side of it and start
Would
working
you
on
have ever
ourselves?
grown up and become a man without some other person forcing you to? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
It would be better to just be wise and not have it come to that, of course. It would be much better to just never have to experience that.
Yeah.
So now that we know, we don't have to ever let that happen again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And I just, that when you're talking, like what we were just saying, I just keep thinking forged in fire. That's what I think of, because that's how you really get hardened.
So for example, the peyote medicine that I'm on here and there, I took a little bit today.
Nice.
It's a fire medicine. It's straight gasoline fire medicine. You know what I mean? So forged in fire. If you know how to get a hold of things like that, it'll forge you. It'll harden you, and it'll turn you into a fiery ass. I'm kind of a Leo persona in the first place, I guess. If you want to go by Western, Leo and August and shit. Kind of like Mark is August 13th, I think, is what Mark is. I'm August 15th, right? So. I guess people tell me that I kind of have a fiery personality. You know what I mean? So
I would agree.
Well, thanks. I'll take it.
Well, I for sure. I mean, hey, fire is great, and again, it definitely that's a great. I think that's a great thing, a trait to have, and
yeah.
But I'm glad that we're kind of talking about, like, we're kind of slowly working into the peyote, and because as I was saying, telling you and everybody at the beginning, I've had this calling for over a year, and heard about I've heard about DMT, I've heard about peyote, I've heard about mushrooms. I mean, I hear all these things, and I think a lot of other people do. And where I ran into the problem was, I didn't know where to get any. That was one of them.
Yeah.
And I didn't know. And then if I did get my hands on any, I didn't have anybody that could to guide me or teach me. Like, I wouldn't know what to take. I wouldn't know how much or anything.
Right. Well, so as a shaman in the Native American church, that's my role, is to help people who want to be able to heal themselves, who want to feel better. My role is to just give them advice. Maybe if I have medicines, that would heal them, then I can offer them medicines. It's up to them whether they want to, engage me on that and stuff. But I do have quite a bit of experience with that kind of stuff. Another divine fire medicine is the Acacia confusa root bark. I get it from this store called the acaciastore.com. It's legal in the States. I don't know about Canada and stuff. But, acacia is a good thing to look into. Syrian rue, that's some burning bush medicine. You mix Syrian rue, burning bush, from the Bible and stuff. I'm kind of convinced Syrian rue combined with acacia is going to light you up. You know what I mean?
You're on your way.
I just took one, so it's about to get a little bit litty in here. I do try to keep things at safe levels. Prioritize safety with this stuff. Program your subconscious to keep safety in your life. See, that's one of the lessons I learned from being murdered, is that I should always be focused on safety. You know what I mean? Maybe especially if you're going to go run down the street with an AK-47, you should probably prioritize safety. Right. And in the past, maybe I wasn't prioritizing safety to the same degree that I am now. So,
yeah, and this is such a fascinating discussion that we're having and that we're diving into now, Nathan, because I really want to learn about this medicine. And so anything you can, I'm so eager for you to talk about it and the power of it.
Let's just go in on some trip experiences and shit.
For sure.
Okay?
And I just want to ask you before you do that, Nathan, is you were just showing the root, and you were talking about some of the things that you can use. Is that the same as DMT, or is
Yeah, the
DMT?
acacia root bark is a very potent source of DMT.
Okay,
Yes, and
okay,
this the Syrian rue is got a very, very strong MAOI, which is a monoamine oxidase inhibitor, which allows you to absorb DMT into your bloodstream without it metabolizing, right? So it's kind of like ayahuasca. One thing to just so we're prioritizing safety for the listeners, don't get carried away now. If you're on SSRI antidepressants, don't take any monoamine oxidase inhibitors. You could die if you combine SSRIs with Syrian rue, even like cacao. Doesn't mix well with SSRIs. So that's just a precautionary safety,
absolutely.
tip for people. Be off of SSRIs for a solid 3 or 4 months before you try it, because it's known that it can be dangerous.
Okay.
So,
That's great that you let people know that, because
yeah.
with the amount of people that are taking drugs like that, that's great advice.
Mm-hmm.
And we do want to talk about safety, absolutely, because especially for somebody like me who's just learning.
Yeah.
As I was saying, I don't know. I'm learning as I go here. I'm as new as some of the people who are listening to this, and I've talked to a lot of people that do want to. They do want to have their an experience. I don't know what you call it, so please forgive me, Nathan. I don't know if it's called a trip or I don't know what you call it when you take these drugs and then you kind of a journey.
Yeah, it is a journey
Yeah.
for sure.
So I mean, I know a lot of people that want to, but they just they don't want to. They don't know how to or what is involved, and that's why I'm glad that we're talking about this. And I'm assuming that your intentions when you are going into your journey, that matters drastically. I'm sure, right? Your intentions
It absolutely matters, and your intentions leading up to the journey. Your intentions in life,
Okay.
for your whole life. Filter in to the journey that you have and the experience that you have. If you're doing things in reality that you shouldn't do, and you start taking medicines like this, it's going to show that to you. It's going to tell you in a very personal way, what you should and shouldn't be doing in your life. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And it'll give you feedback. And what I would say though for new beginners is you want to start very, very light. You want to titrate up a dose, and you want to figure out, for mushrooms, for example, you could start with 1/10 of a gram. Just start with micro doses, once a day or once a week or something. Make sure physically you can handle it, and make sure it doesn't throw you off balance. If it's bringing you spiritual insights and things that you need to implement in your life, be sure to show up, as soon as possible and take care of those things. You know what I mean? Just to make sure that you're responsible and that you're safe. I would say for newbies especially, make sure you're in a really safe environment. Your home is probably a good place to be, assuming. I live in Springfield now. There's a lot of 5G in the atmosphere. I do have a lot of orgonite, but what I've noticed is if I get pretty heavy tripping going, I will start to feel the 5G. And it's a little bit uncomfortable, I would have to say, but for now, that's where I'm at. So I learned to be quantumly hopefully more powerful than the 5G, since I can't stop my healing. I just can't. I gotta heal. There's 5G in the atmosphere. So, we're going to have to deal with it one way or another. That's what I'm saying.
That's incredible that you can feel it though. Like that's just showing that it's always affecting us, even though we can't feel it, and people are surrounded by it. We're being bombarded by this 5G and radiation, and I think of all the Wi-Fi devices that people have around them at all times, and that when you're in that state in your journey, you can feel it.
Oh yeah, and another thing that makes me more sensitive to the 5G. I used to make orgonite, right? Here's one of my pieces right here. So I made this, and my house is full of orgonite.
That's really cool. Wow.
So the orgonite is supposed to protect you from EMFs, and it does. It does protect you, but part of the way that it protects you, one of the ways that it protects you is it makes you more sensitive to it. So you begin to be able to directly perceive the 5G, and you can feel it. I just attached these organites to my phone. I just got a new phone. And before I attached them, you could feel like the microwaves on your hand and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Using the phone, I was like, this thing's I can feel it. It's heating up my hand. It's kind of uncomfortable to use. You attach these shungite powder organites here, and this one's a combination, like 6 metal powder, device I made. This one's stainless steel. Shungite's a great thing to take. I've actually been putting shungite in my water, shungite powder, and I've actually been eating the shungite powder a little bit at a time in my water and stuff. And I think if you do that, my theory is that your body will become more EMF resistant.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Wow,
it's worth a shot.
Those. Yeah, I didn't know that you made those.
It's worth a shot. See, shungite powder is this black powder. It's cheap. It's probably legal, I would assume. And it's very, very pure vibes. It's a purifying. I feel like it's sacred, and it's here for those of us who are smart enough to be aware that we might need it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And I'm just thinking, like, I've been recently I've really got into crystals too, and I have a lot of different ones. So I actually know what you're talking about now when you're bringing this up. Maybe 6 months ago I wouldn't have. I would have been like, I don't know what you're talking about with these, like what you're saying. But I definitely have been I'm drawn to these crystals. And all different ones. Onyx is one that I'm really drawn to. The ones I seem to be drawn to, Nathan, are Onyx, Bloodstone, and Tiger's Eye. Those 3 seem to be the one that are just, they attract to me.
Well, that's a good combination. I approve of that. Hey, another tip, if you want EMF protection, I'm not even doing this. A friend made this device for me. What you do is you get Tiger's Eye beads, and then you put neodymium magnets around them in a necklace, right? Mm-hmm. So you space the Tiger's Eye beads with neodymium magnets, and you want to get the right size beads so that the magnetic field of the 2 magnets, they're being held apart, right? They're being held apart. You line them up north to south pole in an infinite circle, right? Mm-hmm. With Tiger's Eye in between. The Tiger's Eye is a little bit magnetically active as well.
Yep.
And if you wear that, it eliminates EMF. It works even better, I would say, than the organite, just protecting you from EMF. I wish I had another necklace. My friend who used to make it, he's also another shaman in the church. He made me one, and I accidentally broke it once. I used to run with it and stuff. I broke it. I haven't been able to get another one, but he actually used like stainless steel wire, or copper wire would work awesome. Probably copper wire is the way to go. And then tie it, copper wire. He had a little clamp that clamped it and stuff, just so it doesn't break and stuff.
Right. That does sound powerful. And yeah, I mean, like I was saying, like 6 months ago, if you would have talked about the power of crystals and different things, I would have been like, I think a lot of people hear that and they're just like, that's woo-woo stuff. And there is something to it. And I'm definitely attracted to, because I had somebody tell me, like, I saw you, I know. Oh my God, I'm so jealous of I collect skulls. So I'm really jealous.
You collect skulls, Crypt? What would I expect from Crypt Rick?
Well, when you see the video, the gloves I'm wearing have skulls on them. Like, I mean, yeah, definitely. And I saw that in one of your videos. I saw when you were showing all the medicine and the table, I saw skulls all over it like that of different gemstones. I was like, wow.
Oh, thanks, bro.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, I'll be here all day. Hey, so why don't we just get in on some of those trip experiences? Hey,
I would love to hear about them. Yes.
Just for the listeners, the most valuable lesson that I've ever learned from medicine.
Okay.
And people might not be ready for this, but what I actually became was like a spiritual, bisexual, hermaphrodite, shape-shifting. I'm kind of like a male-female two-spirit is what it's called in Native American literature. So it caused a full-on 100% integration of the male and female polarities within my soul. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So since that happened probably three years ago, I had done probably 20-something peyote ceremonies. And one night I was I used to be a giant beta male kind of loser, being put through that ringer of public school or private school in my case, watching all those rap videos and always jealous of people who could get girls because I could just never ever figure it out. And I tried so hard for like 20 something years, just tried my hardest. I would even research on the internet, how to get women and stuff, trying to figure it out. And finally, I got the answer. Finally, I got the answer, and now I feel like I feel like I got a handle on it, but only because the true answer to the riddle was that I am actually eternally both male and female. And I don't actually need to pick up any girls. I actually don't need to do that because I have it all within me. You know what I mean? So it was a big sexual healing for me. It took quite a bit of spiritual, work and stuff. And since then, I've actually developed a talent for shape-shifting into a female version of myself, and my voice will even change, and I start acting like a girl and stuff. So it's kind of magical. The feminine polarity, I feel like there's some magic in just being. There's some girl power, some star power in just being in touch with that kind of energy, and that was possibly the hardest thing that I ever had to learn, honestly. And whenever I did integrate that fully, I was like, wow, I can't believe I solved that riddle. That was the hardest thing I had ever had to figure out. And if I can do that, it was like, wow, I can do anything after that. You know what I mean?
Right. And when you're saying that, I just wonder if that's why they, when you look in the world, there's such a war between male and female, like, and they really promote this divide. And I wonder if that's intentionally, because
of course it's intentionally.
They know
everything they do is intentional.
That's true. I'm kind
Don't
of thinking.
Think twice. They're not fools. They're not just incompetent leadership.
Right. Yeah. And I try to tell people that too. I'm like, nothing is left to chance. I mean, I know a lot of people right now, they're really big on what's going on in the Ukraine and that. And I'm like, just another fear thing they're pumping out there to keep people in that state. But I don't want to go off on that tangent, but I get what you're saying. Like, yeah, they know what they're doing.
Oh yeah.
But I see the war on the sexes kind of thing. And it's like, wow, like just you saying what you were just explaining, it kind of makes sense. Keep that divided.
And it's all mind control too, because Mario West talks about this a whole lot. I would suggest for the listeners, if you've never listened to Mario West, she's a good truther. I met her at Free Your Mind 3 or 4. I think it was Free Your Mind 4. And that's one of her biggest lessons, is that the inner male and the inner female, they need to work together in harmony. Right. And they need to have each other's back, and they need to encourage and love one another. Love one another internally, and then you'll be ready to do the external great work.
Absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would love, if you want to talk about, like, I was thinking, I've listened to a lot because I was trying to learn, and I was kind of heard a lot about DMT, and I was listening to people that try to explain the journeys that they had, and they can't really, it's really fascinating to me that they can't really put words to it. And I've heard people on YouTube videos talk about seeing elves and clockwork elves and geometry and all of this weird stuff. So
yeah,
what are your thoughts? Like, I mean, I don't know how. I don't know the language. So forgive me, Nathan. I don't know what I'm trying to explain in a way. Like in my head, I do, but I don't know how to word it. Is that what these journeys do? Are they showing? What are they showing you?
They're just raising your frequency, like Acacia, for example, raises your frequency to such a high level of frequency, that the world starts shifting in front of your eyes. The world starts changing in front of your eyes, and it's almost like you're going into a parallel dimension. Many times I felt like this medicine actually takes me to a higher plane of reality, to a more heavenly, perfect dimension. But it also purifies the body. It definitely purifies the body. It's good for detox. It's really good for fasting. If you're having problems trying to fast, for health and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
if you will start using some of these medicines, and I'm not trying to tell people to do things that are irresponsible. Make sure that it's a path that aligns with your soul, so that you don't have a bad trip. You
I was
know.
going to ask you about bad trips. Yeah.
Yeah, bad trips are real. They can happen. I don't feel like peyote and I think you could have a bad trip if you're doing something irresponsible, is what I would say. If you haven't done enough shadow work and it's your first time, like with mushrooms, for example, you could have a trip that'll take you to hell. And I've been there. I've been there on mushrooms specifically. It'll take you to hell, and then God will then weigh your soul and be like, where do you want to be? Do you want to be here forever? Or would you rather do something else? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So the acacia, one of the messages when I first like had a blast off on it, which was like my first dose of it, was just half a teaspoon of rue and half a teaspoon of acacia. I think it was probably the hardest that I've ever tripped. And what happened was I started seeing smiley faces everywhere. I didn't know what to do. I was like, should I play piano? And I was playing piano, and there were smiley faces on the keys looking up at me. And I was like, oh my God, this is getting crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I never tripped like this. And then I went and laid down on the couch. I was just like, what the fuck do I even do? And then I started hearing static pops in my ears, like electro pops. And then I just heard this voice say, don't fight this, is what the voice said. And then I started to have an experience that lasted probably an hour, where I started to feel like the combination of the rue and acacia in my belly was some kind of nuclear explosion that was going to melt the entire world and send me into a new reality. And it started to feel like my house was going to spontaneously combust. It looked like things were about to set on fire. And I was like, I don't know what I did, but I'm about to be somewhere else. You know what I mean? And I kind of sat with it. My friend, who's also a shaman in the church, he was in that video, Aubrey. He just randomly showed up. He just randomly come over. He was like, hey, brother, I thought that I got this weird feeling like I need to show up. And, by then I had called a couple friends. I think I called Man Found Standing, the president of the church, and I was like talking to him about this other guy in the church and wondering what this other guy's intentions were. And I heard the acacia medicine. It was like, hey, what do you want that guy's intentions to be? What do you want that guy's intentions to be? Do you want it to be good or evil? And I was like, well, let's just have that guy be a good guy that's on a path of healing and stuff. And he was like, yeah, let's go with that story and stuff. And so, it teaches you the power of the mind. And ultimately, if you are in touch with some philosophical wisdom, occult magic, some Western occultism and stuff, talking about law of attraction, aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions. These medicines can be used as a tool for manifestation, self-purity, and, divinity is kind of what I'm getting at. So.
Very cool, right? And another question I wanted to ask, that's so cool what you're saying, and it's making. Thank you for breaking this down because I'm learning so much. When I hear people, like, you always hear that people have vision quest, and so if somebody's, I know a lot of people, like I was saying earlier, that are suffering and lost, and they're kind of not sure where to go next in life or how to react to a certain situation. Can these medicines guide them? I guess the question.
I would say yes. I would say they can. I would say cannabis is another excellent potential teacher plant, where if it's used wisely, if it's used correctly, to where you're not getting any kind of emotional dependence on it. And I would recommend for cannabis, I tell people that it's better to eat the plant raw.
I was going to ask you.
I tell people it's better to eat the plant raw and not smoke it, and not even vape. I don't vape anymore unless you want healing energy in your lungs specifically. What I've noticed with vaping and smoking is that it kind of spikes your blood THC levels through the roof, and then it goes right to your head. And it has a tendency, I feel like, of generating more paranoia sometimes.
Yep.
Versus, eating raw flower. I find it to be much more controllable, much more kind of chill and relaxing, but you can also get extremely high on it and stuff.
Absolutely.
So that's my recommendation. I think cannabis specifically can help you get a much different perspective. This is all about perspective. It's all about looking at the world through the eyes of that specific plant and interfacing, that plant's consciousness and energy with your being, and kind of, just getting a perspective that you never knew was even a thing. So
all right, that's great that you bring that up, because I remember when we were chatting about a week ago, I was asking you about all these different medicines. I was like, is DMT the same as magic mushrooms, and is there differences? And you told me, you're like, each one of these have their own, I don't know the word, their own value, or their own, they all work on a different way, I should say, in a different aspect. And I think, so I mean, I think, because I thought maybe if I took mushrooms, it'd be the same as DMT, and and you were saying no, they have a specific purpose, each one of them.
Yeah, they all got something to offer. So just figure out what you can get in your area. Like I was saying, in America, we can buy mushroom spores and grow them ourselves. I don't know if you can do that in Canada.
You can buy them here. You can just buy mushrooms.
What I mean is like psilocybin spores.
Me too. Yeah.
Can you buy psilocybin spores?
I can at the out of town here. They do sell them once in a while.
We have online stores that'll ship to our house for
awesome.
Yeah, so I got some golden teachers and like some this one strain that each strain has different energies, strangely too. Like these Jedi mind fucks. They're super, super high vibe, extremely high vibe. But then this other strain was more, I would say, like physically healing and stuff, So
it's more like experimenting with what works for you, correct? Kind of trying all the.
Well, yeah, you got to make sure your life's working for you, of course.
Yeah, and then but I'm just saying, like, and then you kind of like, so try mushrooms, maybe that, because I'm just thinking like maybe you try something, it doesn't work for you, but don't get discouraged. Maybe mushrooms aren't your thing. Try peyote.
Yeah, man. I mean, if you just have a bad trip every time, and your heart is saying, hey, I don't know if I need to do that again, then maybe you should listen for a while. Listen sense. For a while, work with something else if you want. There's many ways to do it. Just do a juice cleanse for a while. Some people don't need medicine. It's like some of my friends, they are like, hey, we don't need medicine. I've had plenty of medicine. I need to take a break for a few years. But that doesn't mean, just because that's someone else's opinion, that there's anything inherently wrong with either the medicine or being on a medicine path. You know what I mean? Some people like to say that it's better to do everything yourself, and it's better to just be a raw vegan, juice fasting, breatharian or something. Yep. But one step at a time, right? For now, I still eat. I do still eat, but the peyote capsules, they do help me to eat less. They do. They make it so that I don't need as much food. Which I think is just a miracle of healing on its own, personally.
Yep. I remember in the interview that we did with Chris, I was saying that I think people eat way too much. And I see the portions of that people eat, and I'm just like, wow. I mean, like, really? Do we need that much? I don't eat a lot. I'm kind of like, I don't eat.
So again, this is a really appropriate time to say this, but the way I do my ceremonies and stuff, I go by natural law during the ceremony. Sometimes you will find shamans who have been trained, let's say in the jungle or something, and they went and had some training, right? And they insist on doing it where they are basically the lord and master of the ceremony, right? And they want everything to be done in this, they would call it ceremonial sacred way, which is fine, and that might be appropriate for beginners and stuff. Create a safe space where everyone can lie on the ground and have, the shaman will play ikaras, which is like music, designed for healing ideally. But I would just say it doesn't have to be done that way. You don't have to do ceremony in this overly kind of controlling environment where with these rituals where there's a leader of the ceremony who's the authority. Watch out for that, because one time I did actually kind of have a little bit of a and a friend of mine, she said she felt like she was in hell for hours and hours and hours and was just burning in hell because, this guy, he made this acacia medicine in rue. It wasn't acacia. It was some other DMT. I forget, Uruma or something. So it was like South American, tree bark DMT. And he just concentrated the crap out of it. He liked to boil it. If you're gonna brew, I say brew at low temperature. Maybe even do a cold brew is a good way to go. You don't need to boil. You don't need to concentrate the medicine. You can eat it raw. Just eating it raw, if there's no reason to even make a brew unless you just like that,
Right.
So
wow, very very interesting and good to know. I mean, it's just really. This is a fascinating discussion we're having, and I'm so glad that you're here to talk to us.
Hey, Rick, we need to have more of these discussions if you want, and because honestly, I've got a whole lot to unpack and dump onto people, and I've got all night. I can be here as long as you want, but really, the amount of experience that I've had with this, I could just go on and on and on and on and on. So
well, that's great though. I mean, I think this information has to get out there because as I was saying, I talked to a lot of people that want to start working with these medicines and opening their third eye, and they're very open to it. They just don't know how to go about it. They don't know where to go. They don't know where to get the medicine. They don't. So they're willing and they're having a need to do it. They just don't know, like kind of like where I was at just a few weeks ago before I talked to you. I was just like, I don't know what to even ask. I mean, I just didn't know. And so having somebody like you that can kind of guide people and at least give them advice, and that is very valuable.
Hey man, that's the role I play as the shaman of the tribe, as the shaman of the medicine tribe. There's many other shamans too. Me and my friends over here. For the beginners, I would love to get my friends on podcasts.
That'd be awesome.
I don't know what
Yeah.
I don't know. They're kind of dragging their asses as far as the great work and shit. I'm like the only one who does it. I've been trying to educate them for 8 years and they still haven't even begun. It's just weird.
Yeah.
We need.
Yeah.
I think it's fucking weird why you're not on a podcast.
It'd be great to get a bunch of yous on a podcast. I would love to do that and just talk about everybody's different experiences and no,
it's good content, bro. That's how you get to have a big following and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And not that I care about it. I mean, a big following is great because it gets the message out to more people. So I think that is but
I'll take a big following. I'll take a huge following.
Well, yeah, I would too. Actually,
I'd take a lot of people listening to me, man. Maybe I can teach them a few things. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, and so yeah, definitely. I will definitely have you back, Nathan. I promise. I'm gonna get you on regularly to discuss a lot of different things because I think that
thanks a lot, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean we could go on for hours and hours, but definitely I want to touch on. Well, first I want to ask where you got the name Crystal Spider because I have to ask that.
I'm glad you asked. I'm so glad you asked. So the name Crystal Spider came when I was in Little Rock. I even then I was dipping into the spirit realm. This medicine, Salvia divinorum, was actually my first medicine. I think I had salvia before I had weed. Wow. And have you ever heard of salvia?
Yes, I have. Yep.
Yeah, it's different, but it'll get you right in the deep end. So, I started to develop what's called psi abilities, and psi abilities basically work in other dimensions, right? That's how part of how I'm able to directly perceive the EMF frequencies and stuff. In the third eye, if you've ever done any research into what the third eye is, it's your tap into the spirit world, basically. It's your tap into the spirit world. So,
and hence why they're trying to calcify it on all people. They don't want that, correct?
Of course, yeah. So the name crystal spider came after using a certain amount of medicine, and then it just came to me. And I realized that on some level I have a spider personality. And actually, God, we just gotta talk about this, because so spiritually in the occult traditions, there's what's called a Merkaba. You ever heard the word Merkaba?
No.
Okay, so the Merkaba, the symbol for it is actually on this necklace here. The symbol for the Merkaba is actually the Star of David. And basically what the Merkaba is your other dimensional spirit body. And the way it works is other people can't see it with their normal eyes, but if their third eye is open, then they can perceive your Merkaba. And it's basically another dimensional vehicle that surrounds your body. So physically your body is flesh and blood, DNA and stuff, but in a different dimension. For people who aren't woke yet, their Merkabas won't be as developed. Okay. And they won't have as much psi abilities. If you ever wondered about telekinesis, about levitation, about things like that, the so-called above top secret, star child, like MK Ultra, underground things that the government tries to harness and of course pervert and use as a weapon, right? Mm-hmm. That TV show, whatever it was called, I forget what it was called, but basically this kind of medicine, it'll open up your third eye and you will start to realize that there's another dimension to reality. And this is where my feminine side resides, is in this spirit dimension. A good comic book to read is the book Promethea. Ironically, before I fully, male-female integrated, I was reading that book, Promethea, and the whole concept of the book is that there's an imaginary goddess that some people are able to access, and it's a really good book. But I don't know what else to say. So my spider, Merkaba has certain characteristics and abilities. There's other Merkabas that I'll sometimes pilot. Maybe a hawk, maybe other spirit totem, spirit animals. I think if you go deep enough for long enough down the medicine path, you might be able to actually physically transform, similar to some of the Native American legends and South American legends of the. In like comic books, even in video games, they will have these shaman characters that become a bear or something, and they'll just shapeshift all at once into a bear. And honestly, I've been kind of experiencing this kind of stuff, not physically per se, yet, but like the other day, maybe it was maybe a month and a half ago, I was running, right? And I had some medicine that day. I'd had a little acid, I think. I don't remember. Acid's a good way to go. If you can get your hands on an analog, you might start learning how to use the dark web, because if you can't get a hold of anything else, and you're getting good acid, maybe research chemicals are another good way to go. Like 1CP is what I take, 1CP LSD. If you can get a good source of 1CP and it's clean, and see, acid is there's a lot of danger when it comes to acid, because it can be unpredictably strong. And I for that reason, I'd never take more than like a tenth or a quarter hit of acid. For that reason, I always, when I'm dosing myself on lucidity, is what I think LSD stands for. When I dose myself on that, I always say the word safety. Always say the word safety, and then my subconscious knows exactly what the right amount is. So that's how I dose up on acid. Again, if you're programming your subconscious through repetition in you can say some mantras. Mantras are a good spiritual technology, regardless of whether you're using medicine or not. You should be using mantras. That's what I do.
Okay.
That's what I do. I started doing it, especially after that damage that I went through. I started using mantras, and you don't have to use other languages. I might look into that. I might start using like Indian mantras or something. But for whatever language you speak, just start repeating the word healing and safety over and over again. If that's what you want. If that's what you want, just whenever you're bored and you don't know what to do with yourself, just start meditating and just repeating the word safety and healing. And that, if you want, I wouldn't say force it and just bore yourself to death with it. But that's one thing that I do to make sure that, because the subconscious is kind of like an autopilot, and
Right,
if you program it correctly, it'll execute whatever it is that you're putting into it. And so that's one of my methods. That's one of my methods to keep myself safe, make sure I don't get too much, because you can get too, I would say you definitely can get too much of these medicines. Even peyote or rue or something. I would say there's an appropriate amount, and then there's an amount that's gonna make you barf. Definitely, it'll make you barf, and that's your body's defense to make sure that you don't trip too hard. You know what I mean? So for peyote, for example, it's important to stay hydrated. They say don't take water with the peyote because you might vomit instantly. But once it starts sitting in and working, you can feel it dehydrating you. And as soon as you get that feeling, see, I'm getting it now. See, it's a reminder. See, I'm pouring some tea, and it's good to drink structured water. A good way to make structured water is to make some tea or even some juice, lime juice. I think I got this recipe from you. You mentioned mixing lime juice and cayenne pepper.
Yeah.
I was already making lime juice water. Another great resource if you're going to start tripping, there's this supplement called Bioplasma, which is cell salts, and there's other brands. There might be something better than that. But what I've noticed that it does is it makes you less prone to fatigue. And when you're getting deep on, let's say, peyote, there tends to be an element of mental fatigue where your, brain chemistry is just, it's getting to the point where it's uncomfortable, right? Mm-hmm. And what can happen the next day, you might have a little bit of a dehydration headache. And if you get that headache, it'll feel like a bag of rocks. You got hit in the head with a bag of rocks or something, specifically with a cactus medicine, because it is dry in a desert. It grows in a desert under the hot, scorching sun.
Right.
I think that's where it gets a lot of that, potent medicine. So, stay hydrated, I would say, especially, you want to set all this stuff up ahead of time. You want to make sure all your bases are covered before you even dose up. You know what I mean? You want to make sure that you've got your hydrating beverage, you got your limes, you've got your tea, you got whatever you need to stay calm. Maybe a little bit of cannabis can help too, just a touch if it starts burning too much, stuff like that. So.
Just prepare for it, for this journey. Is what I totally get it, and that makes a lot of sense. Make sure you're in a comfortable area where you feel safe. I mean,
a natural setting's great, and that's what we try to do in our group peyote ceremonies. We try to go out well outside of EMF frequencies and stuff, and on private property. If we, for now, we're about to get a much bigger property, and I'm sure we'll be building up. Some medicine villages and stuff, and then we'll have a nice, comfortable place to trip if it starts raining and stuff. We used to do this all the time. We used to do this every month for years. And I went I didn't miss a single ceremony. I missed a couple, but I felt sad when I missed one. I was like, damn, I wish I was there.
Right,
But
right.
I was, yeah.
That's amazing, though. Like the experience that you have is so valuable because for people like me that are just learning, we need people like you, Nathan, that are
Oh,
gonna
thanks.
do it the
Yeah.
right way and show us the
Well, that's what
right
I'm here
way.
for.
Yeah,
I'm here
because
to help.
the worst thing I can think of is, and I think what probably happens to a lot of people is they get some magic mushrooms or they get DMT and then they just blast right off, and no idea what they're doing, no idea what
A
dose to
certain
take.
personality type will do that. So, for example, if you go and look at, and this is why they made it fucking illegal in Missouri and other states to even buy. I tried to buy some live salvia divinorum plants so I could grow my own salvia, get some extract. The company though, they didn't fucking ship it, and they even warned me. They said, "Hey, we're not going to ship to states where it's illegal." But I had to try, and
At least you tried.
yeah, I need to get some more salvia. That's what I need. Um, I forget where I was going with that,
Well,
but
we were just talking about how people take these monster doses and have no idea
oh yeah,
what they're
yeah,
gonna do or what
yeah.
they
If you
what.
go look at people taking this salvia extract, like 60x, and these kids, these fucking like 18-year-old kids, they make YouTube videos out of it, and they rip a bowl, and they got this advice from the internet. And they just rip a fucking bowl of salvia, and one of the effects that it'll have if you do that specifically with the extract, you will be blind. You will be blind from the hallucinations, and your physical eyes won't work anymore. And this is why they freak out. The salvia is pulling them into the fucking spirit world.
Yep.
And they freak out and they start fighting it. And that's the danger, is you don't want to fight the experience, because when you start fighting the experience, that's when you start doing stupid things like stumbling around, breaking shit. You might hurt yourself. You might hurt yourself if you're not in a safe space. If you're going to smoke salvia, what I would say is have your pipe. I like to lay in a bed or on a couch. Know before you light up where you're going to place the pipe, and put your lighter and make sure that it's not in a flammable location, just in case. Maybe have a big, stone or something that you lay the pipe on, because you don't want there to be any reason for you to be in reality. If there's any reason, if you're afraid of anything bad happening, you shouldn't be taking salvia, is what I would say.
Very good advice. Yeah, very
Yeah.
good. Because I think that I think that a lot of people just don't know the dose to take, and then they just blindly do it, and I didn't want to do that. That is the one thing I didn't want to do. So that's why I was asking you. Like, how much do I take? I don't know. I mean, do I take too little? Guess too little is probably better than too much, I would think.
Yeah, it's better than too much. I would start with too little, especially with rue and acacia. The peyote, like with these capsules and stuff, it's a little bit easier to titrate the dose out. Peyote's a little bit lighter as far as biomass, and the weight of it is not gonna fuck you up as bad as like rue and acacia. Rue and acacia, your first time, I would start with maybe 1/10 of a gram or something is what I would start with, just to make sure that it doesn't blast you off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Great advice. Yeah. So, I mean, I
And
don't.
another thing,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, another thing, you don't have to get pure DMT. There's no reason to even do that, is what I've discovered. You don't actually need to extract DMT from the acacia. Like you can if you know what you're doing and you like that. That's fine. I'll take some vaped DMT here and there. I don't have a good stash of that or anything. But
Yeah,
if
I
a
can't
friend,
find it anywhere.
yeah, I would say a good place to find stuff like this, if you have like a healing music festival, specifically a healing music festival that doesn't welcome, heroin addicts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe go hang out at those places and just start asking around.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, who you know, and God, I just had a great thought, and I'm kind of like you. I've got so many questions in my head, and I'm just like, I just missed it. It'll come back to me though. But
one of the abilities here. Listen to this. So I was running the other day, and I was pretty fucking in there. So I've actually taken it to more experimental levels, and I've started combining like 5 different medicines at the same time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it gets fucking wild when you do that. And So I was running down the street piloting this spider merkaba, and it was a giant tarantula. It was like a 20-foot wide tarantula that I was, and people can't see it, it's invisible, but I felt like I could probably run 30 miles an hour, and people would just
Wow.
be like, yeah, how the fuck are you doing that?
Yeah, no doubt. Like, and when you bring that, like, when you're talking about like the crystal spider and all of that, and then you're bringing up like how people, like people eventually can maybe
Yeah,
shapeshift.
crystal spider again. So THC is a crystal, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
DMT is a crystal. That's part of the name, I guess. But I just like crystals in general. That's why I named it. That's why I went with crystal. See, at first I was going with the name on my email. I was changing my email to Crystal Demon and stuff. And after a couple of years of that, I was like, that's just got a bad context. That kind of sets people off in the wrong. They start assuming things about you that I just don't want people assuming that. So I changed it to Crystal Spider.
Cool.
But I already had the spider persona, so.
Yeah, that's cool. That's what. And now that we're talking about, because we were talking about DMT and the acacia bush, and I was remember hearing somewhere that they think that that's what the whole burning bush story was that it was the acacia bush, and that's why they had this whole like it's in the Bible and stuff like that, the burning bush, and they're kind of
So
saying,
you heard that too? Did
yeah,
you hear that from someone other than me? Oh, it totally. I
no,
I
yeah, I heard from
promise
somebody
you,
other
it's the
than you.
burning bush.
Yeah.
It's the fire medicine from God. It's holy medicine.
Yep.
It's holy divine medicine.
Wow. Yeah. No, I didn't hear that from you. I heard it from somewhere. I remember hearing that, and they're like,
Well,
maybe that was.
I'm the second person who said that. Then.
Yeah, and it was the acacia bush. So as soon as you said acacia bush, I was like, oh, I know what. Okay, I get it. I know where we're going.
Yeah, but it ain't gonna light you up unless you take that rue with it, or even some jungle, ayahuasca vine or something.
Okay.
You got to have the MAOI. It'll have a subtle effect. It might speed your thinking up a little bit, It might make you dream a little bit deeper or something. But if you don't take the MAOI with it, your body just metabolizes it before it really enters your bloodstream. Is what I hear.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, and
yeah.
Very cool. And I'm just thinking about like when I heard in Native American stories that spirit animals and stuff like that, and I wonder if that's where this all comes from.
It's cool stories, is it not? But spirit animals are real. You might discover one if you start tuning in.
Does everybody have one?
I don't know if everyone has one. I wouldn't say that. You would know. You would know if you have one. If you don't know what your spirit animal is, then I guess you don't have
I have animals that are attracted to me. I don't know if that would be. See, I don't. Yeah, no.
I think that's a spirit totem, is what it's called. If you get like one of my favorite spirit animals is the deer. I love deer. I just love
mine. I can't believe I got to tell you what mine is, and well, it's no secret. I have it tattooed on my hand, but mine's a chipmunk, and I don't. Chipmunk is. I'm drawn to a chipmunk. Oh my god.
So I don't know if you noticed, but I'm shooting up some fucking stuff.
Oh, I noticed.
What is this shit called? Rape. Yeah, you might be able to get that. I got it from some shop. Rape.shop is what it says. They make these weird fucking things, and this I forget what it's called. Karuma, I think, is what this little thing is called. But
it sounds rough.
Oh man, hey, you should watch this video I just made. I accidentally poured fucking fennel essential oil into my eye earlier.
Okay, yeah, that would hurt.
Yeah. There's this other medicine from the jungle. It's called Sananga. Oh, it's good stuff. But you pour it in your eyes, right? And I got Sananga and Rape from this shop, Rape.shop. I forget, it's a different country, but they made it through customs and stuff. I guess you're allowed to buy that. So I found a good Rape shop and a good Sananga shop. And Sananga, you pour it in your eyes, and it burns. Oh, God, it stings. It stings so bad. It's just stinging and stinging and stinging, and it goes on for probably 5 or 10 minutes. And what it does is it clears your sinuses, and then I even started crying last time I used it. I cried a bit. It cleared my sinus, and then I just felt I felt so relaxed afterwards. It was just a wave of fucking relax. See, I'm kind of feeling that now. This Rape might be doing it too.
Yeah, no doubt. Jeez.
Yeah, it helps.
But yeah, I mean, and I think that's neat that you even talk about the crying part, because I think They make crying such a weak thing, and that's always bothered me. That especially guys, they guys don't cry, and crying shows
Bro,
weakness. And
like
I'm like,
if they murder your ass and then kill your girlfriend too,
yeah,
how are you not gonna cry?
yeah,
How
and
are you not gonna cry
I
a little
agree.
bit?
I think
And
it's
whenever
so
you think
healing.
about that, and I listen to that Freedom Call song, I just burst into
Yep.
tears.
I have songs that do that to me too. That just every time I hear them, I can hear them 100 times, and they just connect with me. And I've always said I talk about music a lot in my shows, and music to me is something that we can all
I
come
say that
together
real
on.
men do cry. I say real
Yeah.
men cry.
Yep.
What? Come on. Is your empathy there? Do you have any empathy, or are you empathy deleted? You know what I mean?
Exactly. And I think that's a great healing tool. It's there for a reason. And the fact that they try to make it people feel bad for doing it is just sickening to me. And
So here, check this one out. So this bismuth, this bismuth organite, it's got shungite in it too.
that is really cool, actually.
Yeah, thanks. So what it does, god damn, this is some good information. So what this thing does is it shoots, and I can see it now, as a giant light beam out of it, right? A giant, and every time you shoot the light beam at yourself, you see your fucking skeleton in your third eye. This is like an X-ray machine. You shine a light beam, you see your whole damn skeleton lit up. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
geez, but yeah, while you were doing your medicine there, I was telling you that I don't know if it's my spirit animal, but I do have a tattooed on my hand. I have a chipmunk. And for some reason, chipmunks are attracted to me. And when I'm outside in my yard, they're all around me. And I'm just like, well, I don't know what the meaning of a chipmunk is. I'm sure it's got some legend to it. But I mean, I don't know.
Another one that people should be able to get if the world was right.
Well,
the coca leaf. The coca leaf. It's a better. I've never had pure white powder, but what I would say is the coca leaf is actually a heart healing medicine. You take it and you just feel so good inside. Don't abuse it though. If you start feeling bad, your dopamine's getting a little off balance. You need to take a few days off, is what I would say.
So you don't take that stuff every day?
Well, no. Nah.
Okay.
I mean, unless you just did a little bit,
Okay, like microdosing or something like that.
Yeah, if you start feeling like your dopamine's getting fucked up, then lay off the coca leaf is what I would say.
Okay, cool. Good to know. And so before we wrap it up, because I'm just getting a little sore if I sit too long. I mean, but I'm gonna have you back on for definitely a part 2 to talk about this, Nathan. And thank you. But I want to talk about your music, because I was watching like your outdoor ceremonies, your peyote ceremonies.
Oh my God, brother!
Yeah, and the
God.
fact that you have music, and it really caught my eye, and you're playing guitar, as I was saying. Amazing.
I mean, my music is healing music.
Yep.
That's what I intentionally seeing. Before, I wasn't as much of a healer. I was doing my shadow work. I was trying to be as healthy as I could be. But now, after being murdered, I do the healing mantra. And doing the healing mantra, sometimes I'll do it while playing guitar. You just repeat the word healing over and over and over again. Whatever intention phrases you want in your mind. It comes through the music, I swear. It does. Some people say, metal isn't good for healing and for cannabis, for example. But I play my music to my cannabis. I think it's going to help my cannabis. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I find a lot of healing, and I think music in general, it's what you're drawn to. But to say
there's
metal,
this obsession in the metal world with death metal.
Yeah.
And why? Are you trying to kill someone with your music?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some people probably are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cannibal Corpse and shit. Come on.
Yeah.
Who wants to listen to Cannibal Corpse?
Yeah. I get mad when people tell me that too. That all metal is satanic metal, and I'm just like, oh my God.
Fucking lyrics coming through that shit, dude. Yeah. If you want to go listen to this band called Infant Annihilator, what I heard from a friend who turned me on to Infant Annihilator is that this person who was writing these lyrics was actually doing it to expose the Catholic Church. So,
right.
Maybe there's a time and place for it. You know what I mean? Maybe there's a time and place for that kind of metal,
Yes.
But for the most part, I'm trying to put out good, positive, healing vibes that'll uplift the tribe. I even bring my guitar to ceremony. You might have saw it in
I
our
did see it.
ceremony
Yeah,
video.
that's what I was saying. I watched the whole ceremony. It's like two and
So
a half hours.
you gotta hear this one. If you mix, god damn it, if you mix like 5 different medicines and LSD, what's been happening to me when I do that and I play guitar, I actually get into the third eye and the Merkaba. I start to feel like some kind of pharaoh or something, some kind of like Egyptian pharaoh playing guitar. It's kind of strange. And then this headpiece, it's got orgonite in it. It's got stainless orgonite. It keeps my brain nice. And see, the stainless is good for healings. The stainless, one of the properties of it is it self heals apparently. So you mix these powdered stainless, and you want to, if you're buying orgonite, you want to make sure it's got powdered heavy metals. If the person who's making it knows what they're doing, you want to get powdered heavy metals. And one of my experimental organites, it's on my phone. I mixed like 6 different powdered metals into it, including bismuth, iron, stainless steel, copper, brass, and bronze. And man, that is some spirit technology. You know what I mean? It's called a holy hand grenade for a reason. But I think Ken Rolla still makes these. These have got the brass powder. It's got some gold flakes and stuff in it. So it's not even very. This is high quality stuff.
I was going to ask how much they are. Yeah.
This one's probably like maybe $60. I don't know. But his website was. Go look him up, Ken Rolla. He makes these. He makes some discs with crystals and stuff in it. That was putting out rays. It's putting out radionics is a good thing to look into. If you get good enough with the third eye, you'll be able to directly perceive the rays coming out of it. So this is another funny one. The stainless steel organite, right? In the radionic spirit world, what it does is it lights up and it can see through people's clothes, for example. So like one time I had a friend over and I told her to put this stainless steel thing on, her body and stuff. And it was funny because I could see under her clothes and I wasn't being creepy or anything. It was just, part of how it works and stuff. So it's good. It's good medicine. I would say it makes you feel calm and it makes you feel good. And I don't know if anyone else is making stainless organite. It's a really good ingredient to put in. It's got iron in it. The iron organite will make you feel like Iron Man. It's kind of a slow vibe, but what I found is if you mix 6 different metal powders, including bismuth, the bismuth is the electric energy, is why you can see your skeleton like the X-ray machine. If you mix them all together, you get what's called like a free energy device, where the thing is almost like a battery. You carry it with you, and it makes you. Like one time I was running a few years ago, and I felt like I was a Terminator robot. I just felt like I had a metal fucking exoskeleton, and I was just like, I don't know. I would start working with it, is what I would say.
For sure. And I noticed the bracelets that you're wearing. Those are definitely gemstones. Can you talk about those? Because I got one too.
Yeah, thanks, bro.
I made my first one. I got Tiger's Eye and Bloodstone bracelet. That I
like
made.
lapis. It's an excellent choice. Lapis has got a really good healing vibe coming out of it. So lapis heals. It's one of the powers of lapis. So whenever I want to, especially if I want to focus on healing medicine, sometimes I'll put the bracelets on while I play guitar and stuff. This one's got lapis, blue kyanite, and shungite. Shungite's another excellent EMF protector, right?
Shungite,
so if you put on these, and they're cheap. They're cheap. Just get a shungite bracelet. Might cost $10. I don't know. $6 or $10. Start wearing it. Maybe get a necklace and stuff.
Shungite, okay.
Again, you can put the shungite powder in your water, and it doesn't hurt me. It's supposedly, what I heard about shungite is that it takes the toxins in the water and it teleports them into a different dimension, and people can't even figure out where the toxins went because they're not there anymore. Wow. It's like a black hole energy, and if you touch, I made a dodecahedron. If you touch the dodecahedron and you got your third eye open, you can send energy to it, and it's like it's going into a black hole, and it just goes and goes and goes forever. And you're like, wow, that's fucking cool. Things can come out of it, Things can come out of the shungite. One time, god damn, got so many stories for you, but I As a magic spell, I made a video of it on my show. I made a magic spell in my yard where did a crystal grid. I was telling people about how to cleanse crystals and how to manifest and stuff. But as a part of that magic spell, I just sprinkled shungite powder all over my house. It was a little bit of a mess. I had to sweep some of it up, but I put it in the corners and stuff. And the weirdest fucking thing happened later that night. I had a little bit of the acacia and rue and stuff, and I was in the spirit, and these beings showed up, right? These spirits, invisible spirits showed up, and they had this black cape on, basically. This black smoke was coming out of them, and it was just a black figure just popped up in the fucking house. It was this black figure. I had a couple friends over. They couldn't fucking see it, but I started talking to invisible people, and I was like, "Who is this person?" This girl Norax showed up. This girl Norax and this big black dude they said they were a soul family from like Arabia and shit. This black bodyguard guy showed up in my house. He was like 6 feet tall, kung fu expert, and I had a whole experience with this soul family. I accidentally electrocuted the girl. I don't even know if I did it. They said that she didn't know what she was doing because I put the bismuth under my bed with a big tinsel ring, and we were gonna have a little experience in my bedroom, and she accidentally electrocuted herself, is what she said. She said they told me they were 6 density entities, and that in order to they need to know about the bismuth, and they need to harmonize with that frequency, or otherwise they'll be electrocuted. I was like, well, does it electrocute you every time? He's like, no, but we need to know that it's there, otherwise. And they were like, I did not expect you to have this kind of stuff. It zapped her. I was having an experience, and then she just started tweaking out. She just started, it was like somebody hit her with a stun gun for a solid 10 seconds. And the bodyguard, he just showed up in the room. He's like, what the hell's going on in here? Right. And I was like, I don't know. I didn't fucking do it. I didn't do it. I don't know what's going on. And she was a little bit traumatized from the experience. She was put in her place a little bit, and she at the same time she was kind of impressed that even happened. So I'm not trying to cause any harm, obviously, right. But it's just it's all good. It's all good fun. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and it's just very powerful. I just think that a lot of people, I always get a little upset because when you talk about crystals and the stuff we're talking about, I think a lot of people just think that's just, I
can list off so many crystals. Fulgurite is apparently concentrated like lightning, is these lightning crystals. The lightning strikes the sand and it creates a crystal. And I heard this stuff from this guy, Bro Yosef, on YouTube. He's a spiritual teacher. He's an occultist. He used to be on the left-hand path. Now he's trying to be a shining, brilliant example of how and magic and stuff. I've been learning about magic from him. He got little tips about like money magic. You buy a citrine crystal, which the way it works is collectively everyone agrees that citrine crystal is the crystal of wealth and money. And what he said is you take some money and you put it on the citrine crystal. If you want ancestor money, silver is a good choice. If you got gold, I want to get me some of those gold coins. That's what I want. But for now, I'm just working with silver. Sometimes I'll put them in the background of my video. And then because right now I'm kind of broke. I spent all my money. I spent all my money on treasure, so I'm having to pay off some debt for now. But, one step at a time, right? I'm trying to build a business, kind of like growing food and stuff. I do provide people medicine. They can compensate me if they want. So, one day we'll get there, guys. One day we'll get there. You just have to, you got to put in your 2 cents. You got to do the great work. Go listen to Mark Passio's, guide. I'm going to listen to it. I mean, I couldn't afford it, but I think he's going to sponsor me. So.
Awesome. That's so amazing. And just before we wrap it up, Nathan, I want to give you a couple minutes to let anyone know if you want to promote any of your websites or any information
check
that
my
you want
link
to get.
tree. You might link my link tree,
okay.
linktr.ee/crystal spider. Then you'll find all my work. Be sure to listen to my music. It's designed to make you feel better and to empower you. And so I started rapping the other day. Oh man, you got to hear some of these rhymes. I was just recording right before I got on the show with you, and I've just been laying down the dirty Southern fucking.
Well, that's amazing. I'm looking forward to hearing it, and I will put a link. I definitely will put links in the description for you, Nathan, and to your YouTube channel and everything. I want people to start finding your music and the work you're putting out there for
Thanks a
sure.
lot, man. Yeah, I've only got 70 subscribers on BitChute. I think it's fucking pathetic. It's
Yeah,
fucking pathetic.
I
You know
know.
what I mean?
That's what drives me crazy is that you have people doing amazing work out there, putting out quality information, and they get hardly any views. And then you got somebody that's got a cat video up and they're getting millions of views, and I'm just like,
Yeah, man. I want to speak with the big names. You know, David Icke, Mark Passio. I feel like I'm on their level. You know what I mean?
yeah, for sure.
One step at a time. You know what I mean?
That's a great way to end it. One step at a time, guys. That's how I
Yeah.
got to where I'm doing my podcast was one step
If
at
you
a time.
don't begin the great work, how are you ever going to complete it? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Great advice, Nathan. Thank you so much. I definitely am gonna look. I would stay with you longer, but I'm getting really sore. So, but I do want to
Oh yeah,
welcome.
man. My back's hurting is gonna need
Yeah,
some.
me
It's
too.
gonna need some work, you know. But one day,
Yeah,
one day.
but I'll definitely have you back for sure, Nathan. I promise. We're gonna do a part two, and I really look forward to having you back on soon, and we can
Thanks a lot, my friend.
continue
Yeah, we'll do
talking.
as many as you want all the time.
Absolutely, yeah. So thank
I
you.
don't have a job other than my business that I'm trying to build. So anytime,
Right.
just have
Yep.
me back on.
Right. I for sure I will, and I'll keep in touch. You know I will because I enjoy chatting with you. And texting you, so I'll keep in touch that way too. And if I have any questions, I'm gonna definitely be asking you because I'm sure I'm
Thanks
gonna
a
have
lot, my
some.
friend. And there's only two mistakes on the path to truth: not starting and not going all the way.
Absolutely. Well said. And that's a great way to end it, Nathan. Thank you so much. And keep doing the great work, my friend, and keep getting the information out there for people that want to start working with these medicines because, as I know personally, it's hard to find the information out there. So you're doing a great thing by teaching people about them.
Thank you.
All right. So take care, my friend, and I'll keep in touch.
All right. Thanks a lot,
All
man.
right. Peace, brother. Well, there you have it, guys. Wow. I was looking forward to that interview for a while now because as we were talking about, I've been having this need for well over a year. It just won't go away and it's just getting stronger and stronger that I need to do this and I need to do a journey and I wanted to do it safely for one thing and I wanted to make sure I was, doing it right and I needed some guidance. So I'm glad that I'm starting to learn about this and learn what medicine to take, and I'm really looking forward to it because it's nagging at me, guys. So uh, it's just something I have to do, and I'll keep you guys updated, once I do and let you know how it went and stuff. But I just think that we need more teachers out there talking about this and these medicines because they are medicines. I mean, used properly, they are medicines, and I've always believed that. And doing it properly and as Nathan is saying in a safe place and with a little bit of guidance, that is the way to go. And I think more people like Nathan need to go out and start teaching this and letting people know because the pharmaceutical way is not the way to go as we were talking about. I know over the years it's done a lot of damage to me for sure. So there is natural ways, and now that I'm starting to work with natural medicines and CBD and some tinctures and a lot of different herbs, diet. I mean, it all comes together, but definitely working with these different herbs and that you really start to realize the powerful medicine that's out there in nature. And I hope we've lost touch with that. We just have. We've lost touch with growing our own food. Most people wouldn't know how to start a garden if you asked them to, and we've lost touch with the healing power of these herbs that nature provides for us. And the powers that should not be, as Nathan calls them, great definition, don't want you to know these things. They want you to believe that their way is the only way. And that's such a lie. It's just bullshit. It just is. And like everything else, they pervert it, they invert it, then they sell it back to us as something that's amazing and that we can't live without. And I'm done. No more. So, anyways, thank you guys once again for taking the time to watch this. I want to thank Nathan for coming on and speaking to us about this. I promise I will have you back on, Nathan. And if you guys have any questions for Nathan, hey, let me know. Send me an email at binthinkingpodcast@gmail.com. And if you have any questions, send them to me there for Nathan. And then next time I have him on, I can ask him these questions for you, or in the or in the chat below. Go ahead, guys. If you have any questions for Nathan about what we were talking about, ask him. And then the next show we'll address them, and I'll have Nathan answer them for you. I think it'll be a lot of fun and very educational too. So thanks a lot, guys. Like I said, I'm getting sore. The longer I sit, the more I start to get sore and need to stretch and that. So thank you, guys. Really appreciate all of you who support me, support my work, listen to my shows. Come on, I appreciate every one of my guests who take the time to come and talk to me and talk to you guys and bring this great information forward and starting to let people know about it and doing the great work. I can never thank you enough. Thank you so much. I've met so many incredible people over the last year that I feel truly blessed. So thank you so much, guys. I'll be back very soon with another interview. So please, like, share, subscribe. Hate saying that, but, definitely keep an eye on it that way. That way you can keep an eye on the interviews that I do upload. So thank you, guys. I'll be back very soon with another interview, I promise. Take care, guys. Stay safe and love each other.
Are you interested in the paranormal, murder mysteries, cryptocurrency, and thought-provoking interviews? Then check out Crypt Ricks I've Been Thinking on YouTube, or every Monday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Studio A at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. Welcome to the Crypt.